Good evening, my fellow vapers and my fellow smokers. Welcome to another episode of The Smoker Show. This is episode number 23. Who would have thunk it? Who would have?
Why am I not on the screen? Why am I not on the screen? Why is it just you?
Well, there
that
you
wasn't
go.
fair. That wasn't nice.
I was gonna bring you in because I was seeing the back of your head earlier, so I didn't know you got back to your position.
No, I'm always prepared. What's wrong with you?
Sure you are. Sure you are. Absolutely you are.
Just like I mentioned in the chat, Dimitri has been busting my balls all day long. It's been very, very brutal. I am a little sensitive tonight, so everybody be nice to me. Or don't, because that might be even more fun.
To be fair, it's maybe because I miss you so much. I get to spend I get to spend 3 or 4 days with you down there in Florida, and now I miss you.
And you actually left me something here.
My underwear?
I just didn't know how to take it. I don't know how to take it.
What did I leave?
You don't even know what it is, do you?
I have no idea.
You have no idea. It was in my refrigerator. It's this right here.
You still have it? You still have it's still, man. I don't know what they put on those cucumbers. It's still holding up after a week.
As soon as I saw this in the refrigerator, I knew that I had to save it for this show right here. Not only was it in my refrigerator, but it's already wrapped for your safety.
Well, why was there a cucumber though in your refrigerator? You need to tell why.
Oh, well, because Dimitri decided that he wanted to have a kind of a Greek night where he was going to do the cooking for me and my wife Trish, and of course his family who were here. And guys, it was amazing. It was really, really good. I mean, he even has, like, when he's cooking, he's got that hunched over chef pose like this when he's like putting salt and pepper on stuff. It was really, really impressive. It was very, very good. And I know my mother and father, they're going to be coming here in February. I was actually thinking about having Dimitri come back and cooking that same meal for them as well.
I would absolutely love to come back. I had a really good time. Good evening to everybody that's in the chat. Bill will be posting some information inside the chat for you. If this is the first time you're watching the episode live, this is episode 23. That means that we have 22 more episodes behind this, jam-packed with content to convert smokers into vapors and a bunch of information, dispelling a lot of the myths out there about vaping. So go back and watch those episodes at your leisure. But we do ask that you respect the chat. If you're an advanced vapor, try to help out. Try not to confuse. Bill will be collecting your questions in the chat as well, too, and he puts them in a private chat for me, so we will cover them as well, too. But you can always call us if you have any questions or comments. The telephone line is 215-383-5752. Press 1 when you hear the British lady speaking. That will pop you up on my queue, letting me know that you want to come in. And the telephone lines are kindly brought to you by the Vaping Advocate magazine. Before we get started, Phil?
Yes.
We should thank, of course, our wonderful sponsors.
We absolutely should. And our wonderful sponsors include INNOKIN, JOYETECH, My Vapor Store, MVS. And as a matter of fact, Dimitri, My Vapor Store does have a coupon code.
Yes, absolutely. The code is MTL10 for 10% off all of our INNOKIN products.
That's right. Also, 5 Pawns, who have been really with us since the start. Naked 100 and LUNAR ROVER. LUNAR ROVER, another coupon code. Go ahead.
Yes, Smoker Show gives you 15% off. Smoker Show gives you 15% off at LUNAR ROVER. By the way, we do appreciate all of our sponsors. And sometimes we ask, hey, what do you need the sponsors for? Well, there's a lot of expenses in shipping out 6-7 packages every week, number one. Number two, we try to put on a good production. We try to use some really good software. And we want to have products that are geared towards conversion. Hence why you don't see other companies that are sponsoring. We're trying to focus on companies that continue to make starter kits for liquid companies that continue to offer higher nicotine and starter tobaccos for the smokers out there. And those are the people that we like to network with. Those are the people that we like to be sponsored with. And those are the people that we like to promote. Speaking of, if there's...
But just let me cut in here for just one quick second, too. There's a lot of equipment that's involved in doing this show. And, something that you don't see a lot of or maybe just don't even notice it. But we're constantly trying to upgrade and make it look better. One of our biggest constraints right now is the internet. I wished that I had fiber here. Dimitri will now bust my balls on the internet that I have available to me in 𝘃𝗽𝗲, Florida. But we're always trying to make the show a little bit better. And we want to do a lot more like on location shows too. So and bring more guests on board. So look forward to all that stuff coming up in future Smoker Show episodes.
Absolutely. And that was where I was going to lead into. The first ever Smoker Show Live has been booked for Stuttgart, Germany. The Hall of Vape, we thank Ira and his team, always do a great show. This year, they decided to take it a step further. They're going to be going around Stuttgart and various areas with bars, coffee shops that attracts a lot of smokers. They're going to be giving out free entry to the Hall of Vape in Stuttgart, Germany. We're aiming for 200 smokers. Hopefully, we get 500 smokers. But we're going to have the smoker show set up there. We've been contacted by Vape Jam in London to do the same thing. It's funny, all the European shows want us to do that. None of the U.S. shows want us to do that over here anyway. But this is the kind of stuff that we always had in our mind when we planned the smoker show, and hopefully that will continue to grow. Anyway.
Dimitri, I was working on an interview that I'm doing for a magazine today, and it was a question about shows that I've been to and shows that I remember. I mean, do you remember where vape shows started? When it was just a banquet hall in a hotel, and on the outside of the banquet hall there were just folding tables. Everybody had a banner. It wasn't about the size or the impressiveness of your booth. It was your product that spoke for you, not the size of the booth. And the personalities behind those little folding tables too.
Yeah.
And in the middle of those rooms were just a bunch of round tables, and there were people who had their build kits and who were trying liquids and the conversation. But everybody there, it just seemed like such a smaller, close-knit community. Everybody was there willing and ready to help smokers that came in. They were very, very inviting to smokers back then. And there was always gear for smokers at the shows back then. And there's a part of my heart that absolutely misses what it was. And hopefully, maybe with the Smoker Show Live, we could bring a little piece of that back.
I think that a lot of the show organizers realized the gap too in the last couple of years of smokers not going to these shows anymore. MTLer is not going to these shows anymore. In fact, we had a Zoom conference today with one of the organizers from the London show, and she said the same thing. They're disappointed that they don't see that, but they get it. We all kind of evolved and we all kind of grew, and everybody kind of lost the bigger picture there with the marketing and all these companies that were growing over the last couple of years. So it's nice to see that. I do remember those days. I do really remember the days back in the vape bashes and the vapor cons. Where the table had just a little paper on there that says smokers come sit down here, and then vapors would gather around and just help each other out and give you that support structure without an overload of information or an overload of a circus, what most of the shows have turned into, unfortunately, these days. Just this abundance of product, a lot of it with bad labeling and bad IP infringing, and it's just too much for a smoker. They walk in there and they don't feel comfortable in making that conversion. So, yeah, we will try it just like anything else. We will try to attempt to do this, and hopefully it'll be successful. And then who knows, maybe hopefully here in the United States, a show will be interested to pick it up, and we can do it here as well too.
Let's send a shout out to 𝗃𝗽's father. 𝗃𝗽's father is still vaping. That's terrific, right?
Yeah, sorry, my headphones are falling apart for some reason.
What's the matter with your head? What's going on there, pal?
I don't know. My headphones are falling apart.
See,
look at that.
This is exactly why we need sponsors. Dimitri needs a new pair of headphones. Okay, there you go. Perfect
I know.
example.
Hey, by the way, when I was at Phil's house, I had both of my daughters with me, and of course my wife. We all connected to the Wi-Fi, and we brought the whole neighborhood internet down. I just want to put that out there. But anyway, I got to see Larry too. That was him and his wife hanging out, and of course Chris and Kim and all that. We had a really good time at New Year's Eve. It was really good.
Larry's a good guy, man. I tell you what, I'm going with Larry to an Italian deli this weekend, and we're probably going to go to Michelli's for dinner.
Fantastic.
And Larry made some e-liquid for me. He actually made some for you and made some for my wife. My wife loves hers, so Larry's probably gonna have to make more for her. But he gave me this coffee custard type thing.
It's good.
And it's really not bad. It's really not that bad.
Good. By the way, you talk about my cooking. Your vodka sauce with that pasta was delicious. The kids loved it. I loved it, even though I don't eat that much pasta. But the sauce was excellent. The sausage and peppers. It was just a really good time. So thanks to you and your wifey for hosting us. We really, really enjoyed it.
You are welcome back anytime, my friend.
Just answer a couple of questions. 𝗃𝗽, great job on the Zenith tank. I already gave Phil my feedback. It's a great tank. Thank you so much, 𝗃𝗽. We appreciate it. He shared that email with me. So thank you very much. When in Ecuador, I don't know. Tamer, I don't know when we're going to go to Ecuador. I really don't. Also, I got a question about my Invisalign. I think this is from Kevin, if I'm not mistaken. I got a couple more months, I think. Couple more months. I'm almost done, so I'm very, very excited to get rid of these things because these last couple of months have been have been tough because now they're fine tuning. Now they're in the last stages. So like the ones that changed last week, oh my god, for 3 days I was in pain, huge pain.
Yeah, I'm actually quite glad it's coming to an end too, because like, whenever we're together, you're always digging around in your mouth like before we eat and everything.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. You don't have to look at me in my mouth though.
I always look at you.
Green Fuzzer, thanks guys. With your help, I've gotten my sister, smoker 40+ years, to try vaping. So that's fantastic. Thank you. You did it, and she did it as well too. By the way, all the product that we had from the last show when I was there at Phil's house has been shipped out, except what did you say, Robert?
Robert, whoever Robert is. Thank you, Costello.
Thanks, Ed. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you so much.
By the way, where does that money go? Does that go to your account?
No, it's your YouTube account. I don't know what you've been doing. You've been hawking all this huge amount of money that we've been getting in for the last year.
We got, like,
$17 total.
I gotta figure out where that money goes.
Thank you so much for watching. And listen, what was I saying? I lost my train of thought with that. But yeah, what I want to say, Dolores, I saw she posted on your wall today. She got the T18. She loves the bourbon from Lunar Vapor, which we sent her. Good. And so everybody should have. If you don't, make sure you message me on Facebook, or if you're on Facebook, make sure that if you have not received the kit. But I think that we got everything out from the previous show as well.
We did, except for Robert. We're still waiting for Robert to get a hold of us. Let me answer Shane's question here.
Mm-hmm. Why don't you read the question out so everybody knows what the question is first?
Okay, Shane wants to know when the 22 millimeter Aries will be available.
I would like to know that too.
So would I. But actually, Shane, the past couple of weeks, I and Dimitri really, we've been spending a lot of time with INNOKIN working on documentation for the new tank and the new product that's coming out, the Beep, instruction manuals, planning our next trip to China. And I have a working document of current projects, future projects, and proposed projects. And we have a couple designs on some new atomizers and things like that. And I can tell you that the Aries 2 and the 22 were part of that document.
Yes,
so
they are.
You know, we work with them as fast and as hard as we can. They are definitely not a company that dumps another product on the market every single week. And I think that's partially a good thing, partially a bad thing, because, you know, people have been waiting for some stuff, but we're going to do the best that we can. And it is definitely on the books. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and again, not to make this into a selfish promotion, but a lot of people waiting on the Beep, and we changed a couple things after we got the prototype. You know, once you fix the prototype, then you test it, then you change a couple things on it, then you do a trial run, and then you test a few more things on it. There's always last minute adjustments, so the process is not as easy as people think. From prototype to trial production, it's 90 days approximately, right? So you have that 3-month period, and then whatever changes you have to make. Hopefully, there's no mold changes. That means that you have to fine tune a few things, and that's what we're doing now. But hopefully it'll be out next month. All right, enough about that. Lauren Springer, I stopped vaping for years once cloud chasing took over, which is very, very unfortunate. I'm sorry about that, Lauren. I'm sorry about that. And went back to regular cigarettes. Now that there are a lot of MTL products, I quit smoking a week ago. I have a Zenith in the mail and can't wait to try it. Congratulations, Lauren. Welcome back to vaping. We certainly appreciate it. All right. I wanna get into a few topics. The show schedule today. See, we veered off 20 minutes in. But the show schedule today. At first, we're gonna bring up some surveys and some studies that have been released in the last month, which is part of our show and the ever-going slides that we prepare and we have on tasteyourjuice.com. By the way, on tasteyourjuice.com, we will have a dedicated smokers page now, smoker show page, where we have all the information and all the slides for you to get. But this kind of information is A, for vapors that are trying to dispel myths, B, for smokers that still on kind of the fence about electronic cigarettes, and C, for the smoker show in general to have this database of more information, more data that we need to try to get more people to start vaping. All right. So are you ready, Phil? Should we get started?
Let's go. This is all you. I haven't seen a lot of this yet. So.
No, and I did this on purpose because I want to get a lot of your feedback as we're going through it live. First, from Greece and the good Dr. F. This is a new study to make this a little bit bigger, make sure everybody can see it. This is a new study that was just released by Dr. F. And the reason why he did this study, obviously he's in Greece, so he used dedicated vape shops in Greece to do this study. He wanted to see the patterns of e-cig. Before we can determine e-cig use, we have to see the patterns and the people that use them. And where are you going to find those people, Phil?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was reading the chat. Can you ask?
Okay, yeah, please don't get distracted.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, the vapors at the vape shop. This is where you're gonna get the accurate information. And the reason why, again, I'm gonna bring this up just to clarify is because a lot of the information that we're getting in the U.S. is based on the JUUL. And trust me, vaping is so much bigger than JUUL, right? In fact, the latest op-ed that I'm going to release here in the next week, I'll share it with everybody as soon as it's up. The title of it is Vaping is More Than JUUL, right? So we have to look at the bigger picture. The people that actually use these products, where are you going to find them? At the vape shop. The dedicated vape shop. You're not going to find them at the C-store. You're not going to find them at the smoke shop. You're not going to find them at the gas station. Yes, you might have people that use these products, but the vapor, you're going to find them at the vape shop. And that's why this study was done, to determine who are the people that are going buying these products, which I think is very, very important. So in this study by Dr. F, the purpose was to understand the population impact of electronic cigarettes and examine the characteristic patterns of e-cigarette use and smoking status of random sample of vape shops customers in Greece. So we wanted to see who are these people. What do you continue to smoke? Were you a smoker before? So he chose 14 vape shops randomly selected in the region of Athens. Every third customer buying the product, that was done every third, so it looked like it was staged. So every third customer that came in was asked to be recruited for this research that Dr. F was doing. The current smoker status was assessed by measuring the exhaled carbon monoxide. They do that, they can determine if you're a smoker or not. Smoking leaves a residue, and that's where they swab your mouth, and they can determine by the CO value inside your mouth if you're a smoker or not. So under the value of 7 parts per million to classify the subject if they're current smokers or they are not smokers. The questionnaire, of course, was used to examine the past smoking status, the patterns of use, health status, and what kind of side effects they had after switching to vaping. So I'm not going to go through a lot of this, but just give you the main points. Total of 309 participants that took part in this study. 82.5% of them were daily e-cigarette users. What does that mean? A daily e-cigarette user feel like a smoker, right? Right. So 82.5% means that this person is a daily e-cigarette user, just like a smoker. The vast majority, 98%, were smokers before e-cigarette use initiation. That means that 98% of the customers that walked into that vape shop were former smokers. So that tells you a lot about initiation, meaning new people trying to use the product, or people that just never had knew anything about vaping, don't walk into a vape shop and say, hey, I just want to start vaping, right? So we're not trying to create a new generation of vapors. What we're trying to do is trying to convert smokers. Almost 70% of them had under 7 parts per million, meaning that they were former smokers. That means that they don't smoke anymore. So that could be a possibility that 30% of them were dual users and 70% of them were legit ex-smokers that don't smoke no more based on the swabbing that they did in their mouth. Most participants were using third-generation devices, 61.8%. Third-generation devices obviously means open tanks, drippers, rebuildable atomizers, rebuildable dripping atomizers, rebuildable dripping tank atomizers, okay? That means third generation. And again, the majority of them, something that we've seen a pattern on, was using non-tobacco flavors, almost 60%. The average liquid consumption was 5 mil per day. Now, keep in mind, this is Europe, right? So there's a lot of higher nicotines there. People use a little bit higher nicotines, and that's why I think that you're seeing that the 5 mil per day kind of fits the European type of vaping that we've seen. Most participants experienced health benefits, mainly improvement in physical status, exercise capacity, olfactory and gustatory senses. I'm not quite sure what that is. Can you translate that for me? While the most common side effects were throat irritation and cough, something that we've talked about multiple times here, Phil.
Yeah, olfactory is going to be smell.
Right. The strongest corollary of being a former smoker was daily cigarette use. Vape shops customers in Greece are mainly, we saw that overwhelmingly, 98%, current and former smokers, with a majority of them having quit smoking. E-cigarette use by never smokers is rare, and none of them subsequently initiate smoking, meaning, just to kind of put this in layman terms, the people that are going to walk into a vape shop, by vast majority, are ex-smokers, okay? And this product has helped them quit smoking. Ultra rare where you get somebody that's going to go in that's never was a smoker to try vaping. Definitely, they're not going to go from vaping to smoking. The gateway effect, which is a big thing here in the United States. Oh, they started with JUUL and they're going to eventually graduate to cigarettes. They don't really graduate. That's failing. If you go from JUUL to a cigarette, you're not really graduating to a cigarette. So this study, even a small scale, 309 participants in 14 shops, is a good indication of what vaping does for smokers. And I think it's a shame that we don't do stuff like this here in the United States. Of course, nobody wants to fund studies here in the United States, but Phil, you catch my drift. This is a good way of determining of who the customer is that goes into the vape shop, and they need to be taken into consideration when you're making regulations, not just Juul.
It's good. So we talk about it all the time. When I quit smoking, what happened? What happened was the first thing was my sense of smell came back, my sense of taste came back, the shortness of breath went away, the upper respiratory tract infections went away completely, which is amazing because I got them all the time, and it's good to just have scientific data to back what we already know and what we've experienced and what we've come to feel.
Sure, it would be nice to have something like this. I'm just trying to fix your picture to make it look a little bit sexier. It would be nice to have more of this data here in the United States, especially with this upcoming legislative session that's going to be brutal for us across the United States. You've seen it in your former home state, New York, what's happening with Governor Cuomo today. And then 𝗃𝗏 today announced a bill that it's going to ban all devices. They ban vaping completely in New York. It's completely ridiculous. I mean, it's not going to go anywhere. But I mean, you know what I'm saying. This is going to be constantly across the United States. So hopefully we'll see some more of that stuff coming out. But of course, congratulations to Dr. F having this published. He just continues to be a hero, in my opinion, in this industry.
And now, we're trying to get Dr. F on the show.
Yes, it's just the time difference is very, very difficult, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning there, so we'll have to catch him at night where he's working very late. But he will come on. He wants to come on. They just did a big press release on this study in Greece. He was on mainstream news media yesterday. Finally, they listened to me with a trade association in Greece, and they hired a PR firm.
Oh, terrific.
Finally. And so now they're getting good publicity on newspapers and TV stations and radio stations. So as soon as this was published, they got Dr. F and boom, they threw him on the news media. They threw him on radio stations. He's been published in 4 or 5 newspapers. So he's been really, really busy with this project right here, and very, very exciting to show Greece leading in this form of education, because this is exactly what it is. It's a study that provides more education for legislators, not only in Greece, but I think across the world as well, too.
And no matter how hard we try, Dimitri, we just can't get those studies, the UK studies and the Greece studies, used here in the US.
Correct.
Even though we're all humans, I mean, we're all on the planet Earth, right? But can you explain why? I mean, why is it that we can't have those studies used and benefit us here in the States?
Sure. So that little white thing was driving me crazy, so I just changed my headset.
You feel better now?
I feel better. So, well, there's 2 reasons. Number one, it doesn't fit the agenda here. Meaning we have this agenda that vaping is taking over. It's costing a lot of money to pharmaceutical companies, big tobacco, politicians that feed off these industries, healthcare, which is very, very corrupt in the United States. All these different factors, the good studies that have been published and from different countries leading, like the UK, which I'm going to show you today, don't fit that scenario. That's the biggest reason. Number 2, the FDA has said that they don't make the FDA has said that they're not going to make a deeming rule based on other studies. They're going to use their own studies. So the FDA announced they're going to do the PATH study. The PATH study is a longitudinal study that takes about 8 to 9 years, where they're doing continuous studies through various universities that have been contracted and various labs that have been contracted to do studies on electronic cigarettes. And those are coming out slowly. Every year we're seeing 2 or 3 more studies come out. So the FDA has said that they're going to use the PATH study to create final regulations as far as the electronic cigarettes are concerned. So yes, we're not able to use it. Ironically, you can use foreign studies when you're filing a PMTA, meaning if you're going to file a pre-market tobacco application with the FDA, you can submit like IQOS did. IQOS submitted in their PMTA studies that they did abroad, not studies that were done here in the United States, to support their claim that they want to get a pre-market tobacco application for the heat not burn products. So I know that got very, very political there very, very quickly, and it's definitely something that I can cover on Smoke Free Radio if Bill remind me, that I think that'll be something very interesting for people to understand. But that's the reason why here in the United States, it's not done. The other problem that we have is that a lot of these are funded by the e-cig industry. And unfortunately, since here in the United States, we fall under the Center for Tobacco Products, which is completely ridiculous. But that's where we are. Again, it's not debatable. It's, whether I agree with it or you agree with it, Phil, it's irrelevant. We fall under the Center for Tobacco Products. So what happens is, because of the stigma of tobacco companies, if an e-cig company funds a study, they automatically say it's biased. With the irony of this is that the opposition does exactly the same thing, meaning they give money to Stanton Glantz, for example, out in California. He does all these bad studies on vaping. He got $20 million this year.
Right. So that was going to be my next question to you. Do you have any hope that this study, the PATH study that the FDA is doing, will be a fair study based on the fact that FDA's strings seem to be pulled by everybody except for us?
Yeah, I think that there will be good studies that are going to come out of past studies. Well, the Georgetown is doing some, Duke is doing some. I think there will be good studies. And listen, science is science, right? If you come up with something that's completely manipulated, and it has to be peer reviewed, and somebody will replicate it. Like Dr. F has replicated bad studies. Remember the bad C4 study? Dr. F replicated it, published it a few months ago. That showed that the lab did incorrect wattage on this device to get that to get that result out. So they have to be a little bit careful as well too. There is, these peer review processes are a little bit corrupt as well too. But I think that we're going to get some good stuff out of it. I don't think it's going to be all bad.
Okay. So listen, if you are a smoker and you're watching this show, basically what I want you to take from all that whole study that Dimitri just shared with you, because a lot of this stuff, it's complicated, it's confusing. There's a lot of big words in there. If I can summarize it, if you smoke and you transition over to vaping, your health will improve.
Yes, okay? There's absolutely no doubt. And I don't want you to think that it's just us saying it. I mean, we're trying to put these studies out. In our group today, I'm just going to put this up here for people to see it. In our group today, which is the platform group, if you haven't joined, you're more than welcome to come in. We try to help everybody with questions and stuff like that. I'm doing a little giveaway for 2019. Just, I do this periodically. Me or Phil will give something away inside the group. But my question was, name one thing that has benefited you from switching to vaping. Right? That's my question. And if you look just under, these are just everyday people. They're not paid spokespeople. They're not sponsored by the companies. None of that. So you can see here, I'm not completely out of breath after climbing the stairs anymore. No longer need asthma meds from Ray French. I can play with my kids without getting winded. I don't poison my family with secondhand smoke. My 2-year-old son doesn't hand me a lighter when I grab my smokes. I feel healthy and don't smell like an ashtray. Been able to train in martial arts for longer durations. Far less use of asthma puffers. I can actually breathe and don't get sick. I mean, just go and read them. They're very touching. They're very heartwarming. And in my opinion, this is maybe a little bit even more valuable than some of these studies where they're kind of hard to understand. And even for me, okay? I mean, meaning for me as Dimitri, I don't know if you follow me on Instagram. Well, you don't know what Instagram is, Phil. But for those of you that know that what Instagram is, even for me, okay? Even for me, this is the picture that I posted Saturday morning. I wouldn't be able to go at 47 years old and play volleyball like I used to when I was 18. I wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't for vaping. And I even credit it in my Instagram post that without vaping, I wouldn't be able to do that. So those are very powerful tools to motivate you to try vaping, to quit smoking. Okay. By the way, if you got any questions inside the chat, just toss them towards Billy.
There's a really good question that just came up from Dennis. And the question is there such a thing as vaping too much, medically speaking, e-liquid consumption / nicotine? Let me respond to the nicotine one. And we've talked about this before on the show. Your body is going to self-titrate, right? So as your body feels like it needs more, if you're coming from smoking, right? If your body feels like it needs more nicotine, you're going to use your vaporizer more. If your body says, okay, that's enough, it's probably going to tell you and you're not going to use your vaporizer. Now, with nicotine, if you overdo it, you're going to feel some negative side effects, right? Maybe dizziness, maybe headache, right? Things like that. Now, as far as, let's say, zero nic e-liquid consumption, that I don't have an answer for. Maybe Dimitri does, but that's like a perfect question that we could ask.
I mean, we don't know what's going to happen 30 years from now, folks. Let's be honest, right? I mean, a cigarette takes 30 years to kill you. It doesn't kill you instantly, right? But what we do know is in the short term that you are going to benefit switching from smoking to vaping. Is there such thing as vaping too much? Your body will tell you. That's the answer. I don't think that there is a start and a finish to an electronic cigarette. There is no timer to it. You can do it if you want to, and we're going to talk about that when we talk about the closed pod systems later. But no, your body should be able to tell you when you've had enough nicotine or where you titrate your body, and then slowly you get used to it. It's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. I remember when I was vaping the 36 milligram V2 Parliament, I think they're called Colonial or something. I don't remember what it's called, but it was the Parliament style cartridges from V2. I remember when I was vaping those, and then I switched to filling my own cartomizers. So I got 36 milligram, and I was filling these little cartomizers in. I remember I got this peach flavor from, I don't know, Juicy Vapor or something. I don't remember, one of these companies, and it was really good. So I kept vaping on it, and next thing you know, I started getting sweating. I got the hiccups. I got a little headache. So my body was telling me I had enough nicotine, and then I learned to either cut down the nicotine level or pace myself and use it as a traditional cigarette in order for my body to kind of balance. Now I know exactly how much nicotine I need and how much I need to vape through the day to get there. So I make the adjustments with my nicotine. All right, got a little bit off track there. David Maraska is 7 months, 11 days since my last cigarette. I'm healthy and happier. Yay me, and congratulations to you. All right, let me move on to the next thing. Got a lot of stuff here to cover for you. I just want to make sure I get everything.
Sure.
I just want to make sure I get everything there. I am going to take you now to Switzerland. And the reason why I did this, by the way, I tweeted all these to Scott Gottlieb and Jerome Adams, which is the Surgeon General, just kind of show them what's happening across the world and what the hell is happening here in the United States. So if you're on Twitter, follow me at Vaping Greek and join the fun as we're tweeting this stuff out. But first time ever in Switzerland, a smoking cessation aid program is integrating vaping into its program. It's really, really exciting. The Helvetic Vape is actively supporting the opening of the 𝗃_𝗽𝗄 in Olten of the first smoking cessation support program. This includes a free offer of vaping products in Switzerland. A smoking cessation program that includes vaping. It's going to start the 19th of December. Obviously, this has started already. That you can register as a smoker freely to get consultation, and obviously they're going to offer you everything that's included into nicotine replacement therapy, meaning they're going to offer you pills, they're going to offer you gum, whatever works for you. But guess what? If none of those work, or if you want to try vaping, you're going to have the option, and they're going to offer it to you for free. Can you imagine the day, Phil? Can you imagine the day where here you can walk into a program and somebody's going to hand you a tank and a bottle of liquid and say, if you've tried everything else to quit smoking that hasn't worked, here's another option. Wouldn't that be fantastic?
It would be fantastic. We're gonna have to dig through a whole lot of corruption to get there, but it would be fantastic.
Yeah, and this is what really bothers me. And that's why I keep tweeting these stories out to politicians and to the people that are in charge here to let them know, look what other people are doing, right? And Switzerland, has a plan. They decided that up to 2027, they want to create a program to eliminate death by tobacco. This is what the country developed, a 10-year plan. And they developed in 2017, and they want to go all the way to 2027. And part of that solution to the tobacco issue has to have vaping inside the equation, right? So according to the data that they got, 61% of smokers are ready to stop. Some of them are on low income, that they just don't have a lot of money. So what they decided to do is, hey, why don't we integrate vaping inside of our program? So congratulations to the country of Sweden. But that goes to show you as a smoker, once again, if you're here in the United States, the entire country of Switzerland is recommending to their smokers to try vaping. So don't believe when you see the puppets on TV with a jewel and the USB stick in the mouth and all this BS that the FDA is throwing out there and some of these corrupt public health groups. Don't believe the hype. This is what you should be seeing, is entire countries making policy to help their smokers in the country and to eliminate death by tobacco. And I think that's very, very telling.
You start to wonder why there's not a lot more public outrage over something like that, and why even mainstream news media, right? Because I would imagine that this would be very, very interesting for them to dig into, right? You have countries that are supporting vaping. You have countries that are adding vaping to smoking cessation programs now. Yeah. Yet we run across all these obstacles and blocks here in the United States when it comes to vaping. Yeah. How come? Why aren't news media outlets saying what's going on here? Outside of
I mean, the project that I was working on for media representation. Yeah. You saw what it costs. right?
Yeah.
So unless you buy the media, you're not going to get that. Number one. Number two, the pharmaceutical companies have these patches and gums that are huge, multi-billion-dollar business here that we can't compete with, right? So, they offer those products to the clinics. They give kickbacks to the doctors. Everybody makes money. People continue to smoke. Everybody's happy. Everybody makes money while people continue to die. So that's a few of the reasons that why we're seeing this negative campaign. But I truly believe, Phil, in the end, maybe it takes 2, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, I think even here at some point, they're not going to be able to dispute the facts. So I feel confident in the future is going to happen. Right now, we're in a really difficult time in the United States as far as vaping. And the next 18 to 24 months will be very, very trying for the entire industry.
Let me ask you this, Ďmitri. Here's an interesting question. Sort these opposition groups in order to where our biggest challenges are to at least, okay? Big tobacco, big pharmaceutical, government.
And nonprofits that made a business out of getting money from these companies to promote anti-smoking, but they need people to continue to smoke for them to make money.
Right, but how would you order those three?
Pharma is on the top of the list.
That's
no
what
doubt
I think.
about it.
Yeah, okay, I agree with you.
I think pharma is on the top of the list. Number two would be the government because of the Master Settlement Agreement here in the United States, which was a very, very corrupt, the Tobacco Control Act of 2009, which is otherwise called as the 𝘃𝗽𝗲𝗄 Protection Act. The government has used to getting this money from the smokers, and they really like this money, and that's a big problem. I would probably put the public health groups third, meaning Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids, American Lung Association, Heart Association, Cancer Association, everything that's association, nonprofit supposedly, I would put them, and then I would put big tobacco. Because I think that big tobacco, they're not concerned how you're going to get your nicotine, whether you smoke it or you vape it or you heat not burn it or you inject it or put it in an eye drop. They don't care. They just want to be the only one selling it. So they will use other regulations and legislation to benefit their companies to monopolize. But I don't think. Clearly, Philip Morris has laid out this plan to be smoke-free by, whatever 2020, which is, a bunch of BS. But it doesn't make any difference. I think that they want to have the monopoly on it. So this is going back to the other question from James Joseph. I think the question is there health hazards to vaping more than necessary? Greek philosopher used to say anything, a lot of anything is not good for you. So yeah, just use some caution. Is it hazardous? I'm not a medical doctor to tell you that. I can't fathom that you're gonna experience a medical emergency if you over vape more than your body will tell you to stop. How about that?
But then again, that goes back to the question that I asked you before, and this is a question that I think Dr. Farsalinos is more able to answer, because there's two kinds of over vaping. There's over vaping nicotine, right? And I think that's something your body's going to tell you, hey, enough nicotine. You're going to be able to feel that.
Yeah.
But then the other thing is you have zero nic and you just over vape e-liquid, right? What happens then? Where is there a detriment there? Is there a danger?
Yeah, you're going to dry up and you're going to dehydrate, so you need to drink a lot of water. Or you're going to have you're going to overdose on delicious strawberry.
Yeah, that could happen.
Possibility.
Yeah.
Your house might smell extraordinary fruity. I really don't know. I really don't know what to say. But it's yeah. I don't see any immediate health hazard from you vaping zero nicotine with abundance, I guess. Or it's going to cost you more. Liquid companies will be happy, I guess, if you don't DIY.
Yeah, that'll make liquid companies very happy.
All right, back to this. Here's another country, Phil. Another country that's embracing vaping, and that is Australia, which is very, very powerful. Australia, by the way, nicotine with liquid with nicotine is banned. You have to get a medical prescription. So the Australian Tobacco Harm Reduction now has introduced a switch to vaping campaign. Vaping nicotine is a less harmful and less costly alternative for adult smokers who are unable to quit. Smokers who switch to vaping will feel much better, save a packet, be exposed to far fewer chemicals than from smoking. It is legal to vape with nicotine in Australia if you follow the guidelines below. I just want to show you this because, yes, you can vape, but you cannot vape with nicotine unless you obtain a nicotine prescription. in Australia. And they've been fighting for the last 4 or 5 years to change this, unfortunately. But you can import nicotine. You can order it from a pharmacy or a trusty international website, or get a prescription there in Australia to use it within your vaporizer. But I do want to play this clip for you, because sometimes we look at vape models, and we look at vape bros, and we look at the vape lifestyle, and sometimes feel we forget about people like this. So this is a very short clip that I want to play.
On the 28th of June 2013 at 3 p.m. in the afternoon, I worked from home, and I decided that it was a Friday, so I decided I'd had enough for the week and that I'd give this vaping a go. So I sat down out on this deck where I am now, and I had my first serious go at electronic cigarettes. And I still had my rollies sitting next to me on the table, but to my surprise, I still have that intact rollie pack of tobacco that I simply have not smoked since that afternoon. I was never going to stop smoking. I was going to be a smoker when I died. I was going to be lying in a hospital bed with a fag in my mouth. That was my personal vision. And I tried vaping, and I just switched instantly. I have never had a cigarette since that day, and I've never craved a cigarette. Not everyone's like that. I'm not 100% healthy. That's the penalty of being a lifelong smoker. But I'm so much better than I was. I have a bit of a cough now, whereas before it was, everyone knows that horrible, horrible hacking cough that went on and you couldn't stop. And it was disgusting. It was absolutely, and that's what made me try something else. So now I don't smell, I feel better, I don't have that morning cough, and it was, for me, so easy.
And Phil,
I love her. I don't forget about her. Other people in the community might.
Right.
That might not be the focus and the look that is out there when you think about vaping.
Right.
That's who I want to focus on. That's who I want this show to focus on.
Wouldn't it be great to see more of this? I do want to point something out here, Phil. I don't know if you noticed this. Let's see what kind of eye you have. Look.
You haven't seen the thing.
Look. No. Look at this. Look at this picture here.
Yeah.
She's got a stab wood with a little dwarf MTL atomizer on there, and a little mech tube here next to it with a dripping MTL atomizer on it. I mean, this just makes my heart just skip, I mean, here's this sweet young lady. She finally, after all those years, decided to give up cigarettes. It's working for her. You're seeing the results. And if this is not telling to you as a human being, forget about a smoker and a vapor. As a human being, if that does not touch you, then you have no pulse, in my opinion. But I thought it was really cute.
There was a glass of straight up vodka there too.
It was. But anyway, Australian Tobacco Harm Reduction Association, of course, supporting vaping and trying to get people in Australia with a lot of resistance from the government. I have to keep bringing this. The Australian government has been very, very strict, unnecessarily strict, with very big special interests there fighting vaping all these years. And then the last one that I want to bring up, which is a very, again, powerful thing. Of course, this is coming out of the UK, which a lot of the good news about vaping is coming. This is a country where the national health system there has supported vaping since day one. They're the first ones that came out with a Royal College of Physicians report that vaping is at least 95% less harmful. They've been the leaders. A huge portion of the UK has switched to vaping. It has benefit public health. Just before Christmas, and we talked about this when I was down there, we just didn't have a chance to show it to you, but I am showing it to you today. This is the 27th of December when this was released. The Public Health England released a video, which I'm going to play for you here in just a little bit, that kind of showed the difference between. So it's just a kind of like an amateuristic test that was done in a lab, but just kind of give you an idea. Another report just came out at the same time with this, once again encouraging UK smokers to transition to these products, because the research estimates that while not completely risk-free, vaping is at least 95% less harmful than smoking. So again, like we were saying earlier about over vaping, yeah, it's not risk-free. Nothing is risk-free. Let me tell you something. Sitting next to Phil after he's eaten beans, it's definitely not risk-free, right?
Yeah, I'm telling you
but
guys, ball busting is brutal today, guys. I'm telling you, it's really out of control.
But it's the level. It's not the poison. It's the dose, okay? That's always been. So here we have, once again, Public Health England promoting electronic cigarettes, and here's the video that they developed, and I want to play that for you now. And tell me what you think, Phil.
Most of us know that smoking is bad for our health. In fact, it's the biggest preventable cause of death in the country. Over 3 million people currently use e-cigarettes. However, there are still lots of misconceptions around their relative safety. I'm here with one of the country's leading stop smoking experts who's going to carry out an experiment to show the impact of smoking conventional cigarettes compared to e-cigarettes.
And what we are going to do is we are going to have one bell jar set up to smoke the average number of cigarettes smoked by a smoker each month. And then we have another bell jar through which we draw vapor from an e-cigarette for the same amount of time. And then, as a control condition, we have clear air to demonstrate not smoking or vaping. So let's see what's going to happen. We are going to do is we are going to have one bell jar set up to smoke the average number of cigarettes smoked by a smoker each month.
Phil, can you please pause your audio? We can hear you, buddy. Whatever's playing on your side. Phil.
I'm muted.
No, I can hear the stream coming from your room. Okay.
And here is the bell jar with cigarette smoke.
I mean, it just is so revolting. Look at this, that's just the inside of the jar. Here, a lump of tar. So that's what's going on inside your lungs. And now we're going to cut this tube. And look at that. There's loads of it. And this is only after 1 month. So is this what's happening inside our bodies when we smoke?
It's certainly a good indication. So now let's have a look at the e-cigarette.
Let's just see. A little bit of vapor. That's the only one that's really got much in the way of colour. Just feels wet.
My research shows that e-cigarettes are significantly less harmful than cigarettes. A big reason for this is the tar, which you can see here, which is not produced by e-cigarettes, but produced by cigarettes. The impact of using e-cigarettes in the long term is very similar to using licensed nicotine products such as nicotine patches or nicotine gum, as you can see here when you compare the control jar with the vapor jar.
So this experiment shows that every cigarette you smoke causes tar to enter your body, and it's the tar that contains the poisonous chemicals that spread through the bloodstream,
which are linked to diseases such as heart disease, stroke, and cancer.
If you are thinking of quitting, search Smoke Free and find the best way for you to quit with a free personal quit plan.
So once again, Phil, I mean, a telling video, even though it's kind of like amateuristic. I want to say amateuristically done. Yeah, go ahead. No, now you're muted. Nope, can't hear you. Now we can hear you.
I can still hear the video playing.
Yeah, it's playing. It's playing somewhere from you, not from me. That's what I'm saying.
There's nothing in the room that's playing the video. Hold on.
Behind you, maybe. Once again, Phil.
No.
I mean, a telling video, even though it's kind of like amateuristic. That's not on me, but I don't know what you're doing. Really, that's on you. That's on your side.
Okay.
That's on your side.
All right. So I think we've seen videos like that before. I've seen many videos like that before. Sure. First of all, I think it's terrific that video is out there. I think it's terrific that. So you know how in the United States we have red states and we have blue states. I think what we need
don't get started.
No, I know. Don't worry, I'm not going to go there. But what I think we need is we need a world map. We need a world map, and we need green locations and red locations, because I think what you're going to start to see is the entire world is becoming green, and the United States seems to continue to be red when it comes to vaping, and it's very, very frustrating. It's extremely frustrating.
Yeah.
And there's science. There's science now that is showing us that this is a safer alternative to smoking. What I don't like is these little studies that come out and they say, oh, we found something. We found something in vaping and it's not perfect. Well, no shit. That is what we have been saying all along. We have been saying that vaping is harm reduction. It's not harm elimination, okay? The safest way to vape is to not vape at all. But if given the choice between a cigarette and a vaporizer, you want to pick a vaporizer every single day. Okay. If you want to do something even better, don't do either. Okay. Give up smoking. Don't vape. Just go out and breathe the beautiful clean air that we have here in the United States. Okay. But if you are a smoker and you are looking for a safer way to get your nicotine, if you still enjoy that nicotine, if you still enjoy the flavor, if you still enjoy the hand to mouth, if you still enjoy seeing smoke, fake smoke, vapor come out of your mouth, then give vaping a shot and don't listen to the stuff that you're hearing in mainstream media.
Very, very well said. I do want to see, I know that we've seen some videos like that done in the past, but I think this is the first time that we've actually seen it done in a lab setting with an actual scientist telling you that in all his research that what he's found is that vaping is by magnitude less harmful than traditional cigarettes. And seeing that visual with the cotton balls and the tar that's been collected on there and just turning brown and all that, you certainly can do that same experiment by yourself at home if you want to. Just pick up a cloth or something and just blow vapor through it or blow smoke for it if you still smoke and just test it out just to see. But I think more so than that is that this video was produced by Public Health England, right? There's the difference. Can you imagine if the FDA would produce a video like that to correctly inform the U.S. citizens that vaping is less harmful than traditional cigarettes? Because the FDA has admitted, we have 𝘃𝗽𝗲 and Ms. Zeller on record saying that exiting on the vapor from the smoking highway to the vapor exit is going to be beneficial for adults. But, of course, they throw all the other stuff, but we're not going to let kids get hooked and blah, 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 and everything else that goes with it. But it's very, very important for adults not to be feared, not to fear trying this product. And also that misinformation is passed on to physicians and it's passed on to people in public health. And the prime example is what happened to me today on Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter, this happened right before the show.
Did you want to take a break before that?
Just a second. Let me finish this segment, and I'll take a break. So this happened to me right before Twitter, right before the show started. I get a tweet. This is coming from a doctor, a PhD, saying this is exactly her tweet to me. This is somebody that's an educated person. Okay, I mean, I don't know her level of education, but the tweet to her was, vaping nicotine is worse than smoking cigarettes, much more addictive. I'm gonna just read that to you one more time. Vaping nicotine is worse than smoking cigarettes. That statement alone, I believe that at least 50% of the smokers in the United States believe. This is coming from a professional, a PhD, whatever, PhD of history. I don't know what she is, but she must have a doctorate or whatever. But I thought she was a doctor, so I tweeted her back, and I was like, I didn't think she was a doctor, so I said, I hope you're not a real doctor because I feel bad for your patients. It's exactly what I tweeted her back, and she said, and then she tweeted me back, and she said that, but I am. Shame on you selling addictive frigs. I'm not quite sure what frigs is. I'll show you further up on my Twitter. But I tweeted her and I said, RIP patients, shame on you for not upholding the Hippocratic Oath. Because as a professional, you should have the ethics to tell the truth. And what's great about Twitter is there's a lot of people on Twitter that are trying to educate. We have a group of vapor advocates that are on Twitter that try to spread good information and good studies and educate people. So you're going to see on my timeline, a lot of people were sending her links to, you can see here, look at all these links. These were sent by Drew. Here, Kevin Crowley sent a link to studies to educate her. The only reason why we're doing this is to help her understand that what she's saying is completely ridiculous. Telling me that vaping is worse than smoking cigarettes, that statement alone just mind blowing, right? So all these people are trying to help her. And what does she reply? She blocks me. She blocks the other people that are giving her this information. Everybody in that thread is now completely blocked. And this was just simply education for her. And this is the way they wanted to interact on Twitter. By the way, somebody tweeted me that frig, because she called me frig, is vulgar slang for have sexual intercourse with. Now, let me tell you something. The way that this chick acted, I'm sure that she cannot keep men off of her. But let me tell you something. That is a psycho in the making. Stay away from women like that. There's nothing good is going to come out of that relationship.
Yeah,
So, I don't know if she really wanted to have sexual intercourse with me, but she blocked me, so she's not going to get that chance.
It's so frustrating. You know, there are a number of people out there that have an opinion. They have an opinion.
Sure.
And it's based on nothing. It's based on absolutely no fact or no proof. Maybe they heard something, maybe they saw something, maybe they don't like the way vaping looks because, hey, it looks just like smoking. And no matter what piece of evidence, what piece of fact, what piece of proof that you give them, it is not going to sway their opinion.
Right.
It's not going to change.
Right, but it has to be based on something that you can grasp. Making a statement that vaping is worse than smoking cigarettes, there's no factual basis to it at all. So it's one thing if it's just some random troll, because we see all those comments constantly because we're on social media constantly. But it's another thing if you have somebody that has a PhD that's saying that statement with absolutely nothing to back it up. That is very, very powerful here in the United States because those titles carry some weight. So you can imagine if she's in a conversation with 20 of her friends and 3 of her friends are smokers and she says, you know what, vaping is worse than smoking cigarettes. The smoker automatically is going to say, though, this person knows what they're talking about. I'm going to continue to
It's the
smoke
PhD
cigarettes.
we're talking to. Yeah,
Right.
They must be smart.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Well, I guess it proves one thing, that PhD after your name does not necessarily make you a smart person overall.
Or will get you sexual intercourse with me either.
Yeah, by the way,
You're not. God,
oh my
I'm
God.
not going to give it to her.
Mowgli, hold on. Mowgli, thank you very much. I have already registered efrigs.com. We'll be using that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's $1 billion idea. Lastly, I do want to bring up this survey. This was done a little bit older. By the way, if you're not subscribed to this blog, please do. This is Kevin Crowley's blog, vapinglinks.blog. And he does, he posts stories and does various stuff to support advocacy. And I just really like Kevin. Obviously we gave him the Consumer Advocate Award at the Las Vegas show as well too. But he did this survey back in 2015. Almost a little bit over 7,000 people took part of it. And I just want you to go and read it and kind of see, if you're a smoker, go see what ex-smokers are saying about electronic cigarettes. And, a couple of the things that are really telling about the survey, that he's asking, how long did you smoke? And you're going to see here, overwhelmingly, most of the people said over 20 years, right? Almost 2,000 people. How long have you been vaping at this given time? Over 1 year was the most popular answer with 2,300 respondents. But we're going to see a lot of the comments that people left as well, too. Why did you vape? Well, this helped me quit smoking. Vaping has simply saved my life. My vape anniversary is February the 1st. And this is what you're going to get yourself into, this same thing. What strength nicotine to use? Now, given this is 1 through 12 here, 1 through 6, and 0 through 12, the 2 most popular answers. Keep in mind, this was a few years ago, and those levels might have come down a little bit. According to the latest survey, we got an average of 6 milligram. And then you get the comments as well, too. I started at 18, but came down. I used 3 because I like to drip and blow big clouds, which is personal preference, and that's fine as well, too. It varies, working my way down to 0. There's some people that want to start vaping and continue to vape, but vape zero nicotine. Do you smoke and vape? I quit smoking completely. 3,100 responders. I haven't smoked cigarettes since I started vaping. 3,000. So you're going to see again, just like Dr. Farsellino's study that he did at the vape shop, almost 90% of the people have completely quit smoking because of vaping. Again, that's a really, really good result. How long did you try vaping before you stopped smoking? This is a mandatory question, and the results are fantastic. Over 3,000 people feel day one. Day one, what we call in this industry an automatic switchover, which is exactly what I was as well, too. The first moment that I tried an electronic cigarette, I never tried another traditional cigarette as well, too.
Yeah, me too, bud.
Is vaping your opinion a gateway to smoking for anyone? Absolutely not. You're going to see there. The majority answers. Health benefits you've noticed since vaping. You're going to see, again, a lot of health benefits here. Blood pressure is down. I can breathe better. I can sleep better. COPD is getting better. A lot of really good information. So the reason why I just put this up there, and I'll put the link in the chat as well, too, is because I want people to go and read it. And if you're not alone. Smokers, you are not alone. Is Larry's past bedtime?
Yeah, I just
well,
respond.
he's getting a little bit older, it's
it's like it's only 10 o'clock, Larry. Seriously.
I think.
Well,
it's-
you know,
I
we
think
might
it's
have
an
taken a
FBI
lot out
thing.
of him at the New Year's Eve party.
I think it's an FBI thing. He needs to.
He could still be recovering.
He might have somewhere to go. But anyway, vaping is at least 95% less harmful than smoking, and hopefully whatever we presented to you today is just another way of you reaffirming the chance to try it. That's all we want you to do. We want you to feel comfortable in trying vaping and then seeing the results for yourself and feeling confident that you can pass on and preach the same thing that we've been trying to preach for the last 10 years. One side note here, Phil. You know what I miss?
Me?
This is going to blow your mind.
Okay.
And I do that often, by the way, with you. But this is going to blow your mind.
Really?
You know what I miss?
Here it comes. I'm like, you got me all built up. Go ahead.
What was the one thing at ECF that was really, really cool when we first started going to the ECF? Tell me one thing that was really, really cool about it.
The ECF forum?
Yeah. In the signature of most of the people on the forum, there was a little box
Oh, yeah.
that
Okay.
said, I quit smoking here. I've avoided this many cigarettes and I've saved X amount of dollars. I really miss that. I don't see any advanced vapors doing that anymore, which is tragic. That's tragic,
It is.
because I think that was a good motivation for new people that went to ECF and looked at this guy. It's like, oh my God, this guy has quit a year ago and he saved $3,000. Oh my God, that's it's a visual thing for smokers. And of course, our industry has evolved and we've gotten away from helping smokers. But I think that was a really great tool that I really miss. I wish we could do that for our profile pictures on Facebook. Can we make that happen?
I'm making a note of it. So let's do this for the next show. Let's find one of those calculators, okay, and let's calculate it out for you and I on the next show. Do you remember even ProVape had that built into one of their devices? I think it was the P3 that it calculated it out for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a great thing to put on a device. Put that note down before somebody else steals that idea. We're probably gonna see it from smoke coming out in 10 days. By the way,
Okay.
but I think that's a really, really good idea. And guys, those personal stories, I think they really help smokers look to you as guidance, as support structure, and that it's worked for you. And with that, let's take just a quick break. And we certainly appreciate all of our sponsors. Of course, that is the new DV by INNOKIN. And it's cool that we got some new products. We can change our commercials finally. We've been playing the same commercials over and over again for a while. So I'm glad to have new content to play during the show. All right, let me see if I got any questions from Bill that have come in. I do have a comment here from Vikram. The ugly thing here is in Europe, they're also picking up the bad news published in the US. Bad news is clickbait. It helps you, it helps get people to click. This morning I was listening, I'm a big Howard Stern fan. This morning I was listening to Howard Stern, and he said that, and on his show a couple of days ago, he talked with Robin about Beth has told him that he's been a lot negative lately and he should be more positive and stuff like that. So somebody in one of these tabloids wrote a story the next day that Beth and Howard are divorcing. Based on that, this is, totally a clickbait story for people to click on it based on what he said on the air, which is completely ridiculous, right? But guess what? They get millions of clicks when stories like that pop up. So yeah, obviously Europe is going to pick up on these stories that come out like, oh, teen epidemic here, and kids are going to gravitate from Juul to smoke and all that. Across the world, those stories are going to be used.
Hey, Dimitri, if people can read the behind the scenes Facebook messages between you and I, they would think that we were divorcing every day.
Oh boy, it's brutal. It's really brutal. Maybe one day we'll publish them. I'm archiving our entire Facebook conversations, so one day maybe we'll publish them. Question: can I use 50 milligram in the DV? Absolutely, you can. You can use 50. You can use 12 milligram freebase. Oh, yeah, that's one good thing I love about INNOKIN is that their products can be used with regular nicotine and salt nicotine as well too. I have 20 milligram nicotine salt in mine right now, and it's vaping delicious.
Vaping delicious.
With a new Plex 3D coil. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Just want to make sure I don't have... has it been proven that vapor has no carcinogens? No, it does. Not carcinogens. It has toxic substances. There's formaldehyde in vapor, but it's well below the allowable threshold. It's not the poison, it's the dose again that we're telling you. So formaldehyde comes out of my breath when I speak, right? That doesn't mean that it's going to kill you. It's not at levels that are toxic. It's the same thing with vaporizers. Yes, absolutely no carcinogens. And
after a night of drinking, it might kill you.
Yeah, that's true. Especially if you hang out with Phil and drink Jack Daniels. All right, so we want to talk a little bit about closed, and we've talked about pods in the past, but we're gonna analyze it a little bit more in depth today. And since we do have a couple kits that were sent to us, and we're going to use these for giveaways as well too if somebody wants to try vaping. I think that a closed pod system, and I do want to get your take on that first before we get started, Phil. So there's just a lot.
Let's talk about first, because there could be some folks joining us for the first time, and you hear pod systems, right? But pod systems can be many different things to many different people today, right? And I would say there are several different kinds of pod systems. There is a pod system with a replaceable coil. There is a pod system that you can fill yourself. There is a pod system that is a closed system, which means once the pod is empty, you have to throw it away and replace it with another one. There are even some rebuildable pods coming out now.
Yep.
And I'm sure it's not the end of what we are going to see from pod systems. But, because when you say pod, it initiates a response, and it might not be the right response because there's so many of them out there now.
And also, just a little side note here, Phil, is that we did an episode where we explained the different styles of pod systems on a previous Smoker show. So go back and if you want to see that into detail. The reason why I bring it up because there's so much talk about the Juul, and we're seeing some animosity from within the industry for these systems. And I want to tell you right off the bat, as far as my personal opinion on these products, is that if you're not smoking, you're doing it right. I don't care if you're using a Juul or if you're using a closed pod system, an open up pod system, or a triple stack battery make mod with an. I don't care how you're vaping. As long as you're vaping, that means you're not smoking and you're benefiting your health. And I do believe that there is definitely a spot for these products on the market for various reasons, which we can explore later on. But
hey, hold on a second, Robert. Don't hurt wants a pod system with a glass tank. We've got it. It's called the Zenith with the cool fire right there. There you go.
Look how small the Zenith with that. Yeah, a pod system with a glass tank. I think that just logistically would probably be a pain in the butt with all the transport and all that. With such a small glass, it might break, stuff like that. But anyway, but hey, just put another thought in our heads. Maybe me and Phil will sit down one day and come up with something. But what we're going to talk about specifically in this segment is closed pod systems, and we have two. We have the JUNO and we have the LEAP. The JUNO, of course, is offered by Demand Vapes. It is a pod system that uses not salt nicotine, very rare in that closed pod system space, but they'll use what they're called a refined nicotine, okay? And it comes in various levels as well, too. And then the LEAP uses a salt-based nicotine at 0.48% of salt nicotine, or otherwise known as 48 milligram, and one nicotine strength now. Currently, and they might have more in the future as well too. But we have both of them here, and we're gonna live test them out. I do have a little close up cam, just kind of show you of what what comes in the package. So Phil, what do you want to start off with?
Let's go with the JUNO first.
With the JUNO, okay. Let me switch over to this. Look at this.
Switch over to that.
My desk is so dirty. It's so bad. It's so bad. And I actually have been charging this so they can be fully charged. All right, here is the JUNO pod system. Again, these are very, very simple, folks. I mean, these are plug-and-play devices. You simply remove the pod that comes pre-filled. You place it inside the battery. This is the battery portion of the device. And then you just puff on it just like you would a cigarette. There's nothing to push. It works automatically. One of the things with the JUNO is that it does have a micro USB charging port, which is very, very nice because most of the people have a micro USB charging port. So this is pretty universal. You can charge it on the go or wherever you're going to go. These are the pods that come with it. Here's the various packages. One thing that I like about the Junos, Phil, is that they come with 4 pods inside the box.
Yes.
There's 4 different pods inside there. And you're going to see here, we got 36 milligram, we got 48 milligram, and there's also 18 milligram strength for the Juno. So you do have a variety. If you start a little bit high, you want something lower. If you want to lower your nicotine, you do have that step down system with the Juno. And once again, this is an assault-based nicotine system. Now, I've been vaping, obviously. What do you think I've been vaping, Phil? Take a wild guess.
The menthol, because you're a mint freak. You're a minty freak.
I'm a minty freak. And for my satisfaction, meaning I like a little throat hit, you know, for this type of pod system, I want a little bit more. I've been vaping the 36 milligram, and this has been satisfactory to me, especially when I'm traveling. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see I'll take a different system with me when I'm traveling just to see what's going to satisfy me. But the 36 milligram has been able to do it for me as well, too. But I am going to try a new flavor. What are we going to try? Pick a flavor.
What do you have? I have the mint berry, the key lime pie, and the mango. I think I'm going to go with the mango.
Okay, I'm going to try the mango too. I have the mint berries. And by the way, I'll just leave these closed. If we give this away to somebody, they'll have some pods to get started with. So let me show you what the box comes like. This is the box here. And if you open it up, you're going to see it has a little metal, a little metal tray. And it has 4 pre-filled pods in them ready to go. And then you just
how many pods are there, Jimmy?
4.
4, okay.
Yeah, that's pretty unique. Most of them have 1 or 2 from what I've seen on the market now. All right, so I'm going to pop out that pod right there. And then it has 2 silicone gaskets, one on the top to protect your mouthpiece.
Gaskets?
No, protective silicone seals, right?
Condoms.
Condoms, yes. Little condoms to protect it, and then that's going to expose the pod. You can see the liquid in there. By the way, can you pull up to see how much liquid this has in it, Phil? I should look.
I can do that. Hold on, just give me a second.
Okay, yeah, no problem. So this is the Mango 36 milligram, and again, this is the battery. It does have a little light indicator on it, letting you know how much battery you have, and you're going to see it flashing there as we're vaping it as well too. Just simply take a little pod.
1.6 mil.
Thank you so much for that. That's double the capacity, by the way, from Juul. Just put it out. I'm not bashing Juul, but I'm just saying that's double the capacity of Juul. And then you just pop it in, and then you're ready to vape. That's all. It's very, very simple. I'm gonna switch to our dual camera here, Phil, and we're gonna take a little vape on the Mango.
And you know, the good news about a product like this, Dimitri, is that you know, after you take the pod out and everything, you can use that condom in real life. Okay, so
that's brutal.
Let's go ahead and take this pod here.
It's about time you dish one back. Okay, go ahead.
Brand new. Oh, you deserve it today, pal. You really, really do.
I do.
Okay, so I got the mango in here, and I'm gonna go ahead and vape it.
Okay, I'll let you go first.
And after we get done with this, I want to talk about the pluses and minuses, because this is really, really unique. Thumbs up, thumbs down. This is really, really unique because we're trying 2 very, very similar products, but the pods are very, very different, okay? Because one uses a salt nicotine pod. The other one uses a more refined freebase nicotine pod.
And I can tell the difference. I mean, I can tell the difference from the throat hit, right? I can definitely tell the difference here. But this kind of reminds me, the draw on it is good. It's not the best, but it's good. It is very cigarette-like. Not the best cigarette-like that I've had. But it kind of reminds me of that cartomizer with a 36 milligram that I was talking about earlier. The experience is very, very similar to that. So you got to be careful when you're using a device like that. And we'll summarize it in the end as well, too. But this is 36 milligram, meaning 3.6. Again, don't let that 36 scare you. But what it means is that 3.6% of nicotine per mil of e-liquid. So in 1.6 mil, you're going to have almost 5% of nicotine in that liquid solution. So it's not. And
I can tell you right now that I can feel it.
Yes.
Right. I cannot, just by vaping this, I can feel this much more than the 12 milligram that I usually vape.
Which is one of my concerns with these pod systems with that higher nicotine, because there is no beginning and end to this like a cigarette, and you can do it pretty much anywhere, and you feel like you can constantly vape, is that you will get over nicked. Right? You will get over nicked. And that might be a turnoff to smokers. So you got to be able to understand what exactly your body is doing and then make the adjustments accordingly before saying, oh man, I vaped and it made me sick. It made me throw up. It made me have headaches. It made me sweat. It made me puke. All those are side effects of you basically over nicking. Okay.
So what I'm feeling from this right now is a bit of lightheadedness. Okay, a little bit of lightheadedness, maybe a little bit of shakiness, and it's really, one of the reasons we're going to talk about the thumbs up, thumbs down, but it's one of the reasons why I try to stay away from these. Okay, because I have been vaping my 12 milligram for so long now that my fear is that if I start using this, because it's so accessible, I don't have to light it on fire, it's not going to run out, that I'm going to become used to this now, right? Yeah. And I don't want to get used to a 36 milligram. I don't want to get used to a 50 milligram. I would much rather stay at my 12 milligram. And I tell you what, just when we went to Disney a couple of weeks ago or last week, I was using nothing but the EQ, right? But I had one EQ with my 12 milligram, and that was in boost mode. And they had another EQ with a 20 milligram, the 𝗃𝗽𝗲𝗍𝗃, right? And what I noticed was I had a hard time putting that one down and going back to my standard nic, right? So I can see that happening to people, especially if you're used to vaping one way and you start using something like this, where you might get used to that higher nicotine level and then kind of be stuck there a little bit.
Yeah. According to his calculator, LUNAR 8 days ago hit 100,000 cigarettes not smoked. How amazing is that? And I did get a message from Mowgli that ECF still has an attractive banner. I don't know if I'm still banned. No, I was never banned at ECF. I just have not been in 3 years. But it's really interesting. Another interesting comment is that it says Phil looks like he got more flushed, which you do, Phil, and that's great because this happened live. I mean, we just saw it here. It looks like
by using this, you
yeah,
mean?
yeah. I didn't mean flush in the toilet. By the way. Did you appreciate that my daughter brought 𝗃𝗽𝗄 to your house?
That was very nice of her.
Very nice?
That was very nice of her. Yeah, I originally thought it was for you, and I thought there was like not enough of it. You got to bring that by the gallon, but yeah, that was very nice.
Yeah, let's try a different flavor. Let's switch it out, and
okay.
I'm gonna try that mint berry.
All right, I'll go with the mint berry as well. No, I won't. Mine's empty. Okay, so I'll go with the key lime.
Did you get a defective one?
No, I might have used them all. Maybe, I don't know.
I'm gonna tell you how I've been using this product when I travel. I always take 2 devices with me.
You put it in your mouth and you suck on it. Is that how you use it when you're traveling?
For sure. But I always take 2 devices with me. I never travel with 1 device.
No.
So again, I always try to, if I'm in a situation where I know I'm not gonna vape a lot, I'll pick this up and get some nicotine in my body to hold me over, and then I'll switch back to my other device. I never exclusively use a high nicotine product, never. For various reasons at this stage of my journey of vaping, but I know how to throttle my body to adjust for the nicotine that's there. All right, what is this one? This one is, for me, it's mint berry. Excited to try this.
I'm actually digging the key lime.
You know, key lime is my favorite dessert, but I cannot vape it.
This is really nice.
I went to J. Alexander's the other day and I got key lime pie for my dessert. It was so good, but if I put it in a vape, I don't like it.
I really get a key lime pie out of this, and I get more throat hit out of this one too.
Yeah, mint berry is pretty good. I mean, it's not my profile, but it's actually very pretty good. I think all the flavors that I've tried from their line. Obviously, I've tried the menthol. I tried the they have a chocolate pretzel that's really good as well too. They have what was the other one that I have back here?
I'm trying to figure out
the tobacco.
I'm trying to figure out the draw on this one and if it's what I'm used to.
I think for me, it could be a little bit tighter.
I'm just gonna say that it's just a little bit on the loose side.
Even in sucking, we're so similar, Phil. It's scary. It really is. Yeah. This is like an episode of the Vape Wife Show. Oh man, don't get Fagan and them jealous.
Yeah, let's say hello to Scott. Hi, Scott.
Hey, Scott. What's going on, buddy? Yeah. So I mean, let's talk about some pros and some cons with the Juno field.
Let's not do that. Let's do that after we go to our next one.
Sure. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm down with that. Let me switch back to this camera here.
Let's go to the leap.
This was newly released. Swedish International is the company that's behind this. They also make the 𝘃𝗽𝗲, which is a sub-ohm. You might have seen it late night, like 2 o'clock in the morning. They run a 30-minute infomercial on a lot of cable news networks, cable channels. It's called the 𝘀𝗽𝗲𝗄. It's pre-filled pods, but sub-ohm vaping, 0.3 milligram. I think they only offer in that. And by the way, every time that we see the guy that represents the company, me and Phil bitch about that. It's like, why you only offer low nicotine products for them? Yeah, this is the same company, and they've released the 𝗃, which is a salt nicotine pod system. And I got one here that's sealed in the kit, so I'm going to open up that for you guys to see. And then I'm going to put it back in so somebody wonderful will hopefully enjoy this and be able to quit smoking with it.
Are you going to suck on it first?
On what?
On the you said you're gonna take it out and then you're gonna put it back in.
No, I've got another one that's ready for suckage.
Okay.
Okay, so here we go. Let me take this out of the way. The JUNO, and here is the 𝗃. This is the actual device, right? So the battery comes separate here. We open it up inside, and it has a couple of things here. We have one device itself. The box is really, really difficult to work with. This is the actual device. And then on the other side, you're going to find what we call in the industry, what, Phil?
A proprietary charger.
There you go, a proprietary charger. So this is a magnetic USB. Again, I don't understand with these companies. With my pod reviews on YouTube, this is one of my big pet peeves. Okay, you have a charger that's proprietary. Why not make it longer? Like, I cannot connect this if I'm working. I cannot connect this to my computer and use the device at the same time. I mean, I can bend down between my legs and puff on it, but that's going to look very, very odd in an office, right?
Can you demonstrate that?
No, well, not. I might do it. I might do
right.
it just for you. Okay. So this has a little magnets down here with the 3 charging ports, and then you're going to see there's the back of the device, and it just simply magnetically holds on there, and it charges your device. And I have one that's charging already. Well, I thought I did. Oh, it fell down. No, it didn't. Where is it? Where is it, Phil? Oh, it's right here. Okay.
It's right there.
I'm sorry. Well, the cable is very, very short. I couldn't see the device that's hanging. So anyway, here's the device itself. This is it with the pod. Guess what I've been vaping from them, Phil?
Do they have any menthol?
Absolutely, they do. It's exactly what I've been vaping. I've been vaping their 4.8% nicotine salt menthol flavor. Now, I did try from the line. I did try the mint. Let me see if exactly. So I just want to make sure I say the right thing. It's called. Oh, that's not it. That's not it. This one, the creamy mint. I was not a fan. I was not a fan of this flavor here at all. In fact, really? If I was working for this company, I would tell them to remove this flavor. But the menthol is really good. Okay, which I've been vaping. Now I have some other flavors here, and let's see what we're gonna try: watermelon, kiwi, island cream, Arctic berry, and apple strawberry. What do you want to give a shot at?
Okay, so I have 2 that I've taken out.
Okay.
And I want to try the kiwi watermelon.
Yeah, I want to try that one too.
And the island creme.
Okay, I'm going to try the apple strawberry.
Okay, good.
Okay, that way it'll mix it up a little bit. All right, so I'm going to open my box up and pull the watermelon kiwi. The box. They really seal these boxes really good. Did I mention that?
Yeah, I had to reach behind me and get a scissors.
I'm going to use my little screwdriver here and pull a pod out. The experience for me on this one, because I've used this for a while. I actually took it on a trip with me when I posted it on my Instagram as well too.
I have not yet tried this one.
Okay, well that's great. We're gonna get it live. This is the pod. It looks like the capacity is bigger. Phil, did you look up at the capacity for this?
I'm actually looking at that right now.
It just looks like it has more liquid inside.
Actually, no, it's a little bit less, 1.5 mil.
Wow, it doesn't look like that. It looks like it's bigger. It looks like a big pod, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This one does not have condoms. It just has little plugs.
Little plugs.
So this is the plug that protects the mouthpiece. Then we had a little plug that protects the pod on the bottom. And then you take the little pod, pop it in, and then you're ready to vape. Switch over to the top camera. All right, we got watermelon kiwi going.
First of all, let me do a thumbs down on both of these systems. Okay, So here is one flavored pod, and here is another flavored pod.
Yeah. And
if I hold these backwards, okay, if I put them onto the camera backwards, I don't know which set is which flavor.
That's a great point.
Okay, so labeling is very, very poor on the 𝗃. And by the way, that carries forward with the JUNO. Right, I cannot tell which flavor these are, front or back. So that right there to me is a thumbs down and a
I
problem.
thought that the pod said it on it, but it doesn't. It actually just has numbers on there. A12, which I'm assuming is their code for their flavor. Very good eye, Phil. That's why you're the good reviewer, and I'm just the puppet stringing along. All right, here we go. Kiwi, what is this? Kiwi watermelon. It sounds really good, doesn't it?
Now, I don't know which one. I've actually managed to mix these up on myself, so I don't know which one I'm going to try. I'm trying to get the little plug out. It's really in there. Okay.
Roberto, the butt plug joke was just too easy, buddy. We just served that up for you guys right there. Did you see it?
You know, there's a plug on the bottom too.
Yeah, there's a plug on the bottom and there's a plug on top.
Okay.
And it's actually a very long plug on top. Did you take it out? Okay.
It was.
It won't work if you don't take it out.
The plug just kept going and going and going. A very, very long plug. I'm thinking that this is the Island Cream.
Well, this is definitely watermelon kiwi.
Let me get my watermelon kiwi out here.
I thought you're supposed to do that anyway, weren't you?
Yeah, just hold on.
But I'm telling you, what's the first thing that you notice when you put it in your mouth?
Tighter draw, a little bit tighter draw.
Mm-hmm. The draw on this one is very, very cigarette-like.
Yeah.
Very, very cigarette-like. It kind of reminds me, remember when I talked about the 𝗀𝗵PHIS a few episodes ago, which I think, for somebody asked in the chat, what is the best cigarette drawing? In my opinion, the 𝗀𝗵PHIS, because it does have that high resistance quote for a refillable pod. The 𝗀𝗵PHIS has one of the best cigarette-type draws on the market for me. I really, really like the draw for this first cigarette smoker. And I'm getting that same sensation with the Leap. And again, you know, this is coming from a company that's been in the tobacco space for years, so I'm assuming that there's a lot of research that went into that. The light on this one, I just wanted to show you again on the JUNO. The light on the JUNO is right down here on the bottom. So when you're vaping on it, I don't know if you can tell. You see it lighting up right there? And we have a green light that's eventually going to turn to red when it's time to charge it. On this one, the light is actually with two windows that are on the side of the pod. You can see one window right there and one window right there. And when you vape, you see the green color light up.
So let's bring up another thumbs down at this point, okay? This is another issue that I have with these, because the LEDs, they're going to change color when your battery gets low.
Correct.
Okay, so if I'm using the JUNO, and my LED is on the bottom,
correct. You can't see it.
Correct. That's a problem. To me, that's a problem. If I'm using the Leap, I can't see them at all.
Correct.
Unless I do this. Then I can see it, right? So in my opinion, unless you have a really close friend like Dimitri, who's walking alongside of you to look at your LED and let you know when it's time to charge the device, you're probably not going to see it until it's too late.
Yeah, and as soon as you let go of the draw, you do see it dim out, so you have to do it very, very quickly to see what your battery level is.
That I do notice that I can pull it away from my mouth and I can see it.
Just kind of look at it, and then it kind of dims out. So that's another very good point. And again, you know, you have to think about the people that are going to use these, right? So you're going to have, it's not going to be just kids juuling. You're going to have 50, 60-year-old people using these products as well, too. And if you want these products to get into their hands, you have to make them as easy, as hassle-free, error-free. And what's the biggest problem about vaping? Running out of battery. It's something that we dealt with. You know, imagine when we were vaping on 90 MOS stick batteries. I had to carry 6 batteries around with me through the day because I was always worried about running out of battery. And you can't always charge. So I think that that's the kind of stuff that people that are designing these products, especially coming from the tobacco space, should be thinking about, is that the smoker to convert has to be easy and they have to not run out of power. And if you don't know what your battery level is, you're definitely going to run out of power.
All right, so which one are you vaping, pal? What flavor?
I'm vaping the kiwi watermelon.
All right, I'll go to that.
And then I'm going to switch to the apple strawberry, and then I'm going to give you my impressions.
So the kiwi watermelon is coming across like almost like a little bit of a Jolly Rancher, kind of like a toned down Jolly Rancher. That's what I get from this one.
Absolutely. It's a toned down Jolly Rancher with the kiwi being predominant for me.
Yeah, I think it's the kiwi that's given that little bit of a twist that's making it taste more like a Jolly Rancher than just like a fresh watermelon.
Totally agree. I'm going to try the strawberry apple. By the way, you know, one of the flavors that I do miss is that strawberry peach, that watermelon peach that you had.
I really love
that.
I can't even get it anymore.
Really, really good flavor.
I don't even think it's on the market anymore. We need to redo that.
Pretty sad.
If
We can't
anybody
do it.
has
We
a
can't.
SKU
We can't.
available, please let us know.
We can't do it based on FDA rules, but we can sell it in Europe, I guess.
I'll go ahead and try that apple strawberry with you.
Okay,
You're,
I'm down.
you're probably not going to like it because you are not a strawberry kind of guy.
I like the strawberry that's in the symmetry from 5 Ponds, but it's mixed in with so many things that does not hit me.
Their flavors, I noticed that the flavors from the Juno are a little bit more pronounced than the Leap flavors. They're very, very subtle flavors on the Leap.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Mowgli. I mean, I've been a strong proponent for proper labeling on everything. I mean, it goes back to the coils. I think all coils should be labeled on them somewhere. It should be not only on the coil itself, it should be on the package that they come in, the resistance and the material being used. This is a perfect example. Like I have this pod, the strength should be on this pod, the flavor should be on this pod, not only on the pod itself, but the packaging as well.
I totally agree. You know, I mean, overall, I think that the flavors from the regular nicotine just come out better. Does that make sense?
Well, that's really interesting.
They pop better.
So let's do thumbs up, thumbs down on these two now.
I'm down. Let's do it.
Okay. So here's what I noticed. First of all, the thumbs down that I already talked about. The LED only on one side of the Juno, not on the other. If you're vaping it, you know, depending on the orientation that you're using, you're not going to be able to see the battery charge indicator. Same thing with the Leap. Maybe even a little bit worse, but in a way a little bit better because the light stays lit a little bit. So when you pull it away from your mouth, you can see it. So those are thumbs down. Also, the Leap, I don't like the fact that it has a proprietary charger. I don't know why that is. Maybe it makes the circuitry easier. You know why it is, right? Did they tell you why?
No, they didn't tell me, but I'm assuming that it's because of the PMTA. If you're going to file this with the FDA is going to want you to have a proprietary charger on your device. They don't want you to be able to charge it with everything that's on the market.
Right. It also might eliminate some maybe protection circuitry because the device always knows exactly what it's going to get. Whereas with a device with a micro USB port, the user can really plug one end of it into anything, right? So maybe that's got something to do with it too. But I still consider it a thumbs down. It's great if you have that charger with you, but as soon as you leave the house and you go to your friend's house, chances are they're not going to have that charger, but they are going to have a bunch of micro USB cables lying around. Sure. So there's that. Now, the other thing too is the satisfaction that I get from these two, right? So one is a 48 milligram. The other one is, what's the Juno?
36, I think is the one.
36. Yeah. I find the 36 more satisfying. Mm-hmm. And why is that? I think it's because of the free-base nicotine as opposed to the salt nicotine. The salt nicotine, I know they're popular out there. Okay, I understand that. But to me, it's like smoking an ultra light cigarette. All right.
Yeah.
I still feel the nicotine. I feel the flush. I feel the flush in my face.
Yeah.
I know I'm getting the nicotine, but for me, part of the satisfaction is the throat hit too.
Yeah.
Right. It's that little bit of irritation that I get in my throat as that vapor goes down and I get that little thump. That's just something that I need from my vape. And with these salt nicotine pods, I just don't get it. I don't get it. Even when I was vaping the 𝗧𝗵𝗀 liquids, right? They have two that I really like. The cafe vanilla and the bourbon something, the cream bourbon or something like that.
Or something like that. Yeah.
Both of those have a really strong throat hit, right? So I get not only my throat hit, but I also get my nicotine too.
It's a blend. It's regular nicotine and salt nicotine on the Silk Nic product. That's why I think.
That's probably why. But when I went to their raspberry, it was just that typical salt nic like feeling that I got here, as opposed to that nice sharp throat hit.
Absolutely.
So, you know, it's going to be again. I just think it adds to confusion for the transitioning smoker and why it's so important that they get a good experience from knowledgeable people at the vape shop, that they're able to try different things and different combinations and different liquids to say, Oh yeah, that satisfied me. You see that smile on their face, like from when we were in Greece and people tried, the 𝗧𝗵𝗲 for the first time, and you saw that look of content,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
That
I
look
agree.
of satisfaction.
I agree.
Because it's and a lot of these pod systems are refillable too, which adds to even more complexity. Because if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know what you're buying, well, I've got a pod system. I know, it's refillable. So I'll just go out and buy a 12 milligram e-liquid and I'll jam it in that pod system and I'm going to be good to go. But a lot of the pod systems that are coming out are underpowered. They're not underpowered for salt nicotine, right? Because they're designed for salt nicotine and they're designed for long battery life, which means they just run at lower wattages, right? To extend the life of the battery. And you get satisfaction and you get your nicotine from the salt nic. But if you put a 12 milligram in some of these, okay, because you got maybe not such good information from the vape shop, you might not be satisfied. And you might be like, well, everybody else is using it. I guess it's just not for me. I'm going to smoke.
Right.
Right. And those are some of the problems
I think
that
I think that you raise a lot of really good questions that unfortunately we're not going to be able to solve the answers, because I think that every company has decided on one form or another how they're going to maneuver through this regulatory field. I do agree that there's a lot of confusion in the market. I do agree that generally the smoker is not going to go in somewhere and ask for salt nicotine versus regular nicotine. I don't think a smoker knows what either of those are anyway. But I think that if I look at these products objectively, and we have to be fair and honest when we're talking about these products, there is a place on the market for them. There are people out there that might be, of an older age that just don't want to deal with the hassle of refilling a pod or even a tank. They want something that's plug and play. They might not smoke that much. They might only smoke 5-6 cigarettes a day. And this will be the replacement for those 5-6 cigarettes. It's very, very simple. Just put your little pod inside, take a couple puffs and get it out there. There's another use for these products as well, too. People that might have disabilities. It's something that, unfortunately, for me and Phil, let me tell you something. Phil has been talking about disabled smokers since I met him in 2011. I swear on my mother's grave, the first time that I talk about disabled people with Phil was in 2011. And so far, no Chinese company, with the exception of INNOKIN, that's been open to the idea, no Chinese company took us up on the design of creating devices for disabled people, whether that be hearing impaired or visually impaired or have an issue with their hands, could have arthritis, could have an MS, could have other. People don't think about that as well too. So there is a market for these products, absolutely, even for the long time use. Now, would it replace me putting Castle Long or putting BLK in one of my 𝗧𝗵𝗲 tanks and vaping it? Absolutely not. This is not for me though. It's definitely not for me to use as a full-time vapor product. What we did is we wanted to give you, again, a little comparison cost, because I think that's very, very important if you're a smoker. So again, I'm going to bring up the slide that we created. All these slides, of course, are going to be added to the main master file of slides. Smoking here, again, these are just assumptions. Prices will vary, consumption will vary. So don't stigmatize us or chain us to the wall because we put these numbers up here. But these are the assumptions. 1 pack per day at an average cost of $7 per pack will yield $2,500 a year. Just a little interesting fact. Out of that $2,500 a year, almost $1,200 will go to your city, local, state, and federal taxes. Just to give you an idea how much the government is raping you on selling cigarettes. All right, so we're gonna bring up first the JUNO, and you're gonna see that it's very, very similar as far as the price, very, very close. Again, the assumptions here is that the average price for the JUNO will be $24.95, and you're going to use 2 devices in a year, and you're going to get a JUNO pod for $4. If you use 1 JUNO pod per day, your average cost will be $14.94. Now, the LEAP, again, very, very similar with pricing. Assumptions for the LEAP, $20 for the device. Average cost of the pod will be $4. If you make 2 LEAP purchases per year and you use 1 LEAP pod per day, your cost is going to come out to $14.93.38. By the way, both of these systems, again, this is just a comparison number, a little bit cheaper than the JUUL, which is the most popular, if you want to call that, closed pod system on the market today, which comes out to about $1,529.98. So cost, the reason why I put that up there is that cost really does not change if you decide to switch to a full-time closed pod system. Not deterring you from trying it or if that's what's keeping you off cigarettes, but keep in mind that the cost is going to be very, very similar to a traditional cigarette. Correct, Phil?
Absolutely. And I want you to know that those calculations, at least for the JUNO and the LEAP, I actually took into account the pods that came in the package too in my calculation. I do have a spreadsheet with a bunch of calculations on it. It's very, very impressive. If you'd like, I'll send that to you.
Okay. Let me go ahead and I think that we've covered everything that we had to cover with those products. I do believe that they should have a place on the market. Interesting fact, the JUNO is distributed to vape shops only. The LEAP, you're going to find it in vape shops and tobacco shops and C-stores as well, too. That's another thing to take into consideration. If you decide to buy one of these products, the availability of where you're going to get it, obviously you're going to be able to get it online as well, too. But if you're shopping for stores, the JUNO is exclusively to vape shops, where the LEAP goes across the board everywhere. But just to end this particular segment, Phil, and just to recap everything, there is a place in the market for these products. And if we believe in harm reduction, tobacco harm reduction, via use of personal vaporizers, we should embrace these products. We should embrace all the products.
And, you know, this might be where everybody winds up.
Sure.
Okay? Because don't forget, there is a segment of vapors right now that got used to a certain thing, right? So here we are, and we're kind of moving like this, but there's new people that are coming on like this, right? So maybe those new people only use a pod system. Maybe that's what they get used to because that's where they begin their journey, right? We started our journey someplace else. I personally started my journey back in 2009. So I'm very, very used to and comfortable with a feeling, a sensation. I know what I like at this point. I know what I like because I've tried numerous things. I'm not a huge fan of these. I can get by with them, but I'm not happy with them.
Yeah.
So, but it's always the same thing. Like, what's the best on the market? What you used to not smoke with. Yeah. That's the best.
Absolutely. Let me make just a clarification as well, too, because I think I misspoke. Okay. There is $1,000 difference between smoking and using pod systems. Yes, absolutely. What I meant to say, and just bring these charts back up, yes, it's $2,500 per year for smoking. The average on the Juul, the JUNO and the LEAP is $1,500. What I meant to say, again, just to clarify, I'm glad somebody caught that, is that the cost amongst the three closed pod systems is nearly identical. It's very, very similar. Yes, there is $1,000 savings via smoking if you're gonna quit smoking and switch to one of these products. But in any one of these three products that you're gonna choose, the cost will be the same. Just to clarify.
Way to go! Now I got a bunch of thumbs down on the video because you pissed
well, it's your YouTube, so oops. All right, let me go through some of these comments here, some of the questions in the chat, and then we're gonna have some fun. But first, Phil.
But first,
just
a word from our sponsors.
Just a little quick break. That is the new Auto Pack. I have it here, and Phil, I don't know if you have it already, but
I looked for mine. They said they sent them to me. My guess is that it went to the Rochester address, and I got to double.
This has a ceramic coil inside. We'll just replace it with cotton, so we'll use it. And then we'll update you on the next Smoker Show. Maybe we'll do a little presentation. But this is unique. It's something new that's come out as well too, and we'll let you know our thoughts on it. Here's a quick question that I just picked up from the chat. Why is Juul the only vape that has advertising on the radio? Radio, they're hitting TV, buddy. They're putting these old people on TV that quit smoking, trying to get the FDA off their back. And the reason why? Because they can afford to. They got huge cash investors. Obviously, they got bought out by Altria now. So there's plenty of billions of dollars for them to advertise anywhere that they want to. It's not that we can't advertise. Of course, the vaping industry can still advertise on TV and on radio, but it's very, very expensive. And a lot of the open vapor companies simply cannot afford that style of advertising. Joseph Blue, this is to you, Phil. I took your advice, getting 12 milligram regular nicotine for my breeze. It was way too harsh. I switched to Salt Nic. By the way, the coils only last 3 days. I get a lot of burnt hits. Yeah, the Salt Nics can be very, very brutal on coils as well, too. But yeah, you're going to, I mean, if you're used especially to a sub-ohm vape, putting 12 milligram nicotine in a mouth to lung will be harsh. I mean, that's just a given. It's something that you have to be able to work through. It might be harsh for the first couple of days, but try to stick with it. Or else the other option is to maybe cut down that salt nicotine or find a salt nicotine that's mixed, like the Silk Nic, regular nicotine and salt nicotine to give a little bit more longevity to your coils.
And
right,
like we always say, Dimitri, just please remember how harsh that cigarette was when you took your first puff, okay?
Yeah.
And it's something you worked through and it's something you got through. And before you know it, you were a smoker. So maybe it is a little harsh at the beginning, but that certainly is something that you will get used to. And if you don't, there's a lot of different things you can try.
Right.
What are some of the things you can try? You can lower your wattage. You can go to a higher VG, or you can try Salt Nic.
We got a lot of questions I want to go through. By the way, the telephone lines are open if you want to call in. 215-383-5752, brought to you by the Vaping Advocate magazine. So the phone lines are open if you got any questions or comments, or you just want to call and comment how sexy Phil is looking. Let's just go through these questions really, really quick. Phil, if you don't mind, what is the highest wattage I can vape the 0.5 plexus coil?
I wouldn't go any higher than 17 watts on it.
17 watts, I think, is where it gives you the maximum vapor and flavor.
I noticed on my Plexus and the new 3D that I've been playing with, about 15.5 watts.
Yeah, I know, lower. It's pretty funny. 0.48 ohms, and you're vaping it at 15 watts. It's just
Isn't that amazing?
It's just
Yeah,
unbelievable, the technology, how it's come around. ARD's Corner, in your opinion, which pod has the best comparable draw to a cig? Going to try again to get my missus off the smokes. You know, ARD, I'm going to tell you right now, send me a message. I'll send her one of these pod systems here. There you go. It doesn't cost you anything. I'll send you the Leap for her to try with some tobacco and some flavored product and see what you think. I like the Leap as far as the draw is concerned. I like the Jew for the satisfaction that's concerned. I like the 𝗀𝗄𝗀 open system. I like the INNOKIN EQ. I like the DV that just came out. There's a lot of pods out there that I like. It's what she likes. So if you don't want to invest in anything, just send me a message on Facebook, and I'll send you out one of these closed systems and let her try it out. Okay?
Let's let me point something out here. And this isn't really, it's not meant to be a plug for, the 𝗀𝗽fire, but let's think about the 𝗀𝗽fire when you compare it to a pod system. Remember, when you get a pod system, for the most part, there are a couple different ones out there, you're limited. You are very, very limited to the draw that you get, and you're limited to the power. You basically get what they give you, right? With a device like this, that's not much larger than a pod, right? You're going to get a lot more adjustability, not only on your power level, but also your draw. Okay. Yeah. So, that might be something that, maybe you don't feel comfortable carrying something like this around versus something like this. But I think you're a lot more limited to your possibilities with something like this versus something like this.
Also, there's
I'm not just talking about INNOKIN product and our product. I'm talking about any similar product, right?
Also, there's nothing wrong with carrying both of these.
Yeah, you can do that.
There's nothing wrong with carrying both of these, so keep that in mind as well too. There might be for different situations where you want to just continuously vape with the lower nicotine and then get a little extra nicotine boost with one of the pod systems. Which again leads us to another question. Phil, this is from Eddie Tuck. What do y'all recommend for my wife who wants to quit but doesn't like the heaviness of mod?
The heaviness of the device itself?
Yeah. I know you had it up. That's why I kind of led you into it. Yeah.
This is really kind of what you're talking about, right? Very, very light, very adjustable, easy to fill, adjustable draw. I might
tell you what, Eddie. One of these kits here with some Patriot from Naked, or BLK from Lunar Rover, or GLD from Lunar Rover, she's gonna quit smoking, and it looks cute too. She'll like it.
Let me ask you this. Is Eddie the one that you just talked about with the pod? You're going to send that person to the pod?
No, that's somebody different.
All right, Eddie, you go ahead and you email me, and I will get a 𝗀𝗽fire and some e-liquid out in the mail for your wife, okay?
All right, Eddie. The links are in the chat. Phil 𝗀𝗻𝗀's Facebook. Just send him a message, and he'll send you out a kit and see how it goes. Some BLK or some GLD for her will really knock it out of the park. This is a very interesting question. I'm just trying to go through these pretty quick so we can get to the next segment and have some fun, because we've talked a lot of serious stuff and we've got to have some fun, Phil.
Yes.
Where do you guys stand with rebuildables that are marketed as true MTL, like the Pro True RTA? Well, I'm going to tell you what I feel. There's no such thing as true MTL. Who's going to tell me what a true MTL is? Everybody has a different way of vaping. That's one of the things when the Aries came out, people were saying it's not tight enough, it's not true, it's not proper. That's like basically saying that the way that I vape, because I vape the Aries all day, this is my all-day vape with two small holes open, and it's perfect for me. It's proper for me. It's true for me. So I don't believe in that hype. I think it's more of a marketing ploy more than anything. Phil, your thoughts?
You said it all. You know, what is true? What's proper? What's correct? I get, you can call it a tighter draw, but I don't think it's a true or a proper. Now, I get the one thing that we can do is we can measure the draw of a cigarette, and we can measure the draw of a device. And if those match up, then maybe we can call it a true mouth to lung, right? But outside of that, like when I started vaping, the tightness of what I liked was tighter than where I am now, and it has loosened up a little bit. That's why I like devices that are more adjustable, that give you exactly what you need to be successful to quit.
Yeah. And also I think that if you like it, I don't care if it's called true or whatever it is, if it's the best atomizer for you, great. That's fantastic. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be the best atomizer for somebody else. That's all I'm saying, is that if that's what you believe is the best atomizer, that's great. That's fantastic, and continue to use it. But doesn't make it even truer or more proper or more properly than other atomizers that are on the market, in my opinion. All right.
You know, I'll give you a really good example.
Keep it short. Keep it short.
All right, the Orion, right? A lot of people love the Orion. It's very, very popular. You've got the version that just came out with. Hold on, I got one here. Hold on. All right, so this is the version that just came out without the Evolve board. So
we'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at that in the next Smoker Show, I think.
We will. I don't like it. I don't like the vape that I get from it.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a problem of the device. It's a problem of the pod. Now, I haven't tried the new pods. They are different pods that go on the new one without the Evolve board. But
people have said that the 1 ohm pods are a little bit better. But I agree with you on that, because I know Phil better than himself. If I don't see him using a device, I know he doesn't enjoy the vape out of it. Not that it's a bad device, right? Not that because it's not a true or a proper. It's just if it's not satisfactory to you, he won't pick it up. And when I'm around him, I see what he's vaping, and I know what satisfies him. Not just our products, but with other products on the market as well too, like a 𝘃𝗽𝗲, like an Aspire Nautilus, stuff like that. You know, you'll use it because you can get a satisfactory vape out. But that doesn't necessarily make it a bad product. I'm the same way. I can't vape the original Orion. I haven't tried the 1 ohm pod myself, but the original Orion, I don't get a satisfactory vape out of it for my style of vaping. All right, let's move on. We got to move on. Using the Zenith tank and haven't had a smoke in 4 months, thankfully, to your product. Thank you, Christopher 𝗃𝗽𝗲. But I'm finding that my coil is lasting less than a week before burnt flavor. Any tips I can use present? I mean, listen, if it's lasting a week, that's great.
That's
I mean, it's $2.50 for crying out loud. You know, we got kids to put through college. I got to have 2 weddings for crying out. I'll buy another coil. I'm just kidding. Look, a lot of times that's going to depend on your liquid, right, Phil?
it's going to depend on the liquid and the wattage you're running it at, right?
Right. Absolutely.
But, you know, you can have a liquid that's going to run for a couple of weeks. You can have a liquid that's going to run for a week. You can have a liquid that's going to run for a couple of days. It's got a lot to do with the sweeteners and the flavorings that go into the liquid.
Yeah. So yeah, the liquid does have a lot to do with it. How much you're going to use it. You know, if you let the tank dry out before you refill it. You know, we generally say when it goes down to 2/3, refill it. You don't want that tank to get pretty dry where that cotton's heating up too quick. Make sure it's nice and wet and saturated. Green fuzzer. Are there any pods that have both wattage and airflow adjustments? I mean, pod is a very broad word now. The Orion has airflow adjustment and wattage. Is it really a pod? It's more like an AIO. I don't really consider that a pod system per se, meaning, you know, when I think about pod, I think about something like this, right? But yeah, I think that the Orion is the one that has airflow adjustments. I can't think of another one that has both of those features, Phil.
No, I'm thinking to myself, and I can't come up with any either. And I'm sure there are a few. You know, the Orion, it's more of a pod system than we'll say like the Beep that we have coming out, right? Because the Beep, it does use a pod, right? But it does have a replaceable coil in it. The the Orion, the Orion, the whole pod, the coil is part of the pod, right?
Right.
So when you throw the pod away, you throw the coil away,
Right.
and you have to go to a new coil.
Right.
So again, this, pod systems, what are they really, right?
Yeah, it's such a broad definition. I totally agree with you. And I think that covers all the questions, Phil. So, yeah. So we decided we're going to have a new segment because we should have some fun. We should always have some fun and try to entertain you as well, too. And I think it's going to entertain us as well, too. We just came up with this idea this afternoon where we're talking about, we always like to go back and look at the episodes and look at the comments and see what people are saying in the previous show, how we can improve, how we can suggestions, what should we show you, and just the various topics, because there's no one way to vape, even when you're converting. So we try to bring you just a variety of subjects and products. That way you can make the determination what fits best for you. So what we decided to do is go look at the last week's episode, which was Smoker Show episode 22, and just kind of look through the comments and see if we find something interesting and share with you. So we're gonna go through these comments, and then I thought, what's great? Let's just pick a comment that we like, and maybe give something to them as well too. Do like a little giveaway, right? So I have loaded up here the comments from last week's episode, and let's just kind of go through these pretty Phil. First comment is, does me or Dimitri look 10 years younger when he shaved? And, I took your advice, and I didn't shave for tonight's episode. Well, I got a little bumpy. But, yeah, I've shaved my goatee for the last 2-3 weeks.
Can you see my responses to those comments?
I sure can.
You can, because
one of the... I wanted to surprise you. So here's a comment from, this is the reply from Phil. Demetrius, you lost weight. You look so young. F. Demetrius. Thanks a lot, Phil. That's really sweet. Here's another comment from Willie, from Philly, the Reverend of Truth. Hey, preach on, Reverend. What about the alcohol industry? If we get scared off this threat, we'll never be able to have true civil liberty. I do agree with you, my friend. Unfortunately, we cannot compare alcohol to nicotine in this country. Here's another comment. Thanks, guys. This is from Hall of Vape for your hard work and your effort to help smokers. We're very proud to host and can't wait for a live smoker show from our show here in Stuttgart, Germany. Thank you so much for that comment. This is just a great comment, by the way. Good looking, Dimitri. Thumbs up. You lost a feel of weight. I thought that was really, really funny.
Yeah, that was hysterical.
Of course, here's your reply. He lost weight, not that much weight. I thought that was really, really funny. Good comment, boys. Great show, gentlemen. It's refreshing actually getting to help people in this live chat. Thank you so much, Rob, and thank you for participating in the chat. It's people like you that make the show even so much easier and better for us. Mr. Brisardo, did you move from Rochester to Florida? I think we covered that on the show last week. Of course we did. Awesome again show, guys. There's a really good to go and to read these comments and see some of the stories people are talking about as well too. I vaped 4 years ago, but fell off the bandwagon and went back to analogs. I'm trying to jump back in it now. As for MTL, what exactly you mean brought it back? I just came back and saw a bunch of MTL tanks, but I thought it was the Siren 2 that kicked the new MTL releases off. Is that incorrect? There are a lot of higher power dual coil devices coming out. So just on that comment alone, what I try to say is that trying to make it commercialized as well too. If you remember the Siren, it was in a specialty group of MTLers. That's how the tank kind of got out there. What we try to do is try to put replaceable coils and make MTL more popular mainstream, not just for that group of MTLers that were kind of hidden online, only buying stuff online because you couldn't get these products in the store. So we try to put MTL back into the vape shops as well too. And I think that we've done a pretty good, darn good job of it. All right. Another comment here. Great show, guys. Thank you so much. This is Juice's biggest issue. He's a flavor chaser, but finds it hard to balance the aspect with a higher amount of nicotine that he wants, which is a problem that, a lot of people have that you should, you have to work at it yourself. That's why a lot of people DIY as well too, because they can get that accurate number of nicotine that's satisfied. I know DIYers that DIY at 4.5 milligrams, for example, or at 9 milligram, which is a very unique milligram strength that you can't generally get in the stores anymore. Or I've heard 7.5, right? So you need to find what helps you. I'm just moving along. Love the show. Sorry to not say the show live. Take care. Hi, guys. Register your products in Germany. We passed that on to INNOKIN. I don't know what we can do. Good show and missed it again. So sorry. Thank you for the information. It's helping with the discussions I'm having. That's awesome. And then we're going to get up to, this is a really nice comment right here. This is from Sonia. Happy New Year. For the first time in 43 years, she was 12 when she began smoking. I can call myself a non-smoker. Smoke-free since December 13th of 2018. After I bought my first vape device, I was a dual user for a few months. I really thought I wouldn't be able to switch completely, but when I found the 2 fruit with cream flavors I'm vaping on right now, it was actually easy. I bought them on the 12th of December, filled the tank, and never smoked again. So to me, these are the stories that really make it worthwhile for us doing the show. This is just a fantastic comment. If you're a smoker, you should look at those comments and feel good about yourself trying vaping, right?
Yeah, Sonia's comments made it to tasteyourjuice.com and the success stories page.
Fantastic. Happy New Year. Glad to see you guys place doing the Smoker Show. You should have gifted me a Hawaiian shirt for the show. No, I'm good. Thanks very much. Skechers and Hawaiian shirts are not in my age bracket yet. Happy New Year, gentlemen. She's catching up with the videos. Thank you so much. Which product helps people to quit smoking? For us, a good product. I absolutely agree with that. That's why we always try to promote good products here on this program. So good to be watching. Back to you. My 2 sons have been having a lot of medical problems. Happy New Year's. I hope your sons feel better, Corrine. Really do. Congrats to the winner. Congrats to Terry. A lot of really, really nice comments. China, the curtain is coming down. Don't get stuck inside. Yes, we did get the advisory about China. Then I got to this.
Here we go.
Then I got to this comment here, which really, I mean, I should have known before reading this. If you have somebody that has Trump as, listen. If you have Trump as your avatar on YouTube, that's an issue in itself. Number one, and number two, the comment was kind of upsetting to me because I don't even remember what we said about Trump. That really, I mean, he really got triggered. And somebody's triggered when you get on the internet and you type in all caps.
Caps.
Come on,
they're
this.
angry at you.
So damn, Dimitri, way to unter-Trump that vid. That really great for the vaping community. Never knew where you are a libtard. And that Bill is a F idiot. That video was not set up. Anyone in brain can see that this is all anti-Trump bullshit happening. You obviously have never worn a MAGA hat in public. Don't be an idiot. If you want to represent the vaping community, don't fuck with us Trump supporters. Now, listen.
Hold on. Before you go any further.
Yeah.
Can I just say real quick what I like most about that comment?
Yes, please.
The fact that my name wasn't mentioned anywhere.
Yeah, I know. You're like Switzerland. You like to be neutral. Yeah. And even I got triggered watching Dimitri and that dirtbag Bill bash the Trump supporter customer of this vid. I would never understand why 7 fools would dislike this vid. So, well, we know where one dislike came from. What's really funny about this is, number one, I'm a registered Republican. Number two, Trump is my president. Unlike what you believe, he is my president. I do respect the fact that he is our president. I don't agree with all the policy because I am a bipartisan voter. That's how all smart people are. Smart people vote based on what they believe and not just straight down party lines. That's how an educated person should be voting, at least in my opinion. But here on this comment particularly, I really don't know what I said that set him off so much about that video. I do believe that the guy that was making the video was trying to make a political statement with it. And yes, I guarantee you will never see me wearing a MAGA hat in public. Never. Actually, you'll never see me wearing a hat, period, because I don't wear hats. But if I was wearing a hat, I would not wear it in private either, because I truly believe that this country is the greatest country in the world. It is the country that I came to and built a career I'm raising my family in, and I would not want to live anywhere else except this country. This is what this country is
and you met Phil Bissardo in this country.
And I met Phil Bissardo in this country. Absolutely. So I'm sorry you were triggered, but if you want to have a discussion, lose the caps because it makes you look foolish. And the fact that I triggered you is pretty amazing. Number two, vaping community pissing off Trump. Well, I haven't seen Trump do pretty much anything for the vaping community. So if you got an out with him, you got a connection, talk to him. If he saves vaping, hey, maybe I'll wear a MAGA hat live here on the Smoker Show. All right. Let's go through a couple more comments here. I'm so tired of smoking. This is Cheryl. Have been vaping for a while. 𝗀𝗵𝗲 cut down from 2.5 packs to a pack, but I really wanted to quit, as does my hubby, trying to figure out how to switch from MTL. We've talked about a lot in these episodes here, Cheryl. I think you reached out to us for kits as well, too. So hopefully you got the kits. I think this is one of the ones that we sent kits for her and her husband. I stopped smoking because of you guys in 2012. Thank you so much, good man. Just one of the old guys. I have an NI allergy. Can't vape that. Only Kanthal. There's nothing wrong with that. LUNAR ROVER makes some great juice. Yeah.
Wait, go back.
What? Where?
let's go to us. Let's go to us for a second.
Okay. Hold on a second. I switch. Sorry. Gotta make that quick. Okay.
So you post something on Facebook about a flavor ban, then it gets nothing.
Absolutely.
And you got all these challenges facing vaping, and it gets nothing. And you got all these problems and all these things that we're facing with vaping, and it gets nothing. But VUPU.
Yeah, VUPU is the big topic.
VUPU is a big topic.
Go back. It's right on my YouTube. The latest episode of Smoke Free Radio. The last 10 minutes, I talk about VUPU and I talk about my thoughts on it. And hopefully that will give you some guidance on my thoughts on VUPU. We don't have to do it here on the Smoker Show. It's definitely not the right place. And it's definitely not something that we should be spending time on. No, absolutely not. That's just clickbait for more subscribers on YouTube. Lunar River makes some great juice. Glad to see them as a sponsor. It's also good. They make high milligram nicotine juice. Great show. 5 years smoke free. Been watching both of you since day one. We certainly appreciate it to Vape King. That's really, really nice of you. Well, I looked through all these, and since I'm the one that's doing the giveaway this week, I need to pick one comment, and I'm going to give them away something because I'm a really nice guy. I really feel that this is really cool. If you're going to take the time to comment, well, except the Trump guy, but if you're going to take the time to comment on our video and let us know your thoughts, I really, really appreciate it. So for me, the winner this week for the comments, and I highly encourage you in the future for the people that are watching to leave a comment underneath here. We definitely going to do this again. 𝗃𝗽𝗲, good looking Dimitri, thumbs up. You lost a feel of weight. Congratulations, 𝗃𝗽𝗲. You won the comment of the week for our YouTube episode 21 of the Smoker Show. And what I'm going to give him, I'm so excited. I'm going to give 𝗃𝗽𝗲 an INNOKIN proton kit, and an INNOKIN Aries. Stainless steel Aries is going to look good. If you want an MTL, if you want to sub them, you can use this. If you want an MTL, you can take the Aries and put it on the proton. 𝗃𝗽𝗲, if you're watching, inside that same thread, just put your email address and I'll reach out to you because there's no way on YouTube to private message anymore. Just put your email right there on that same thread so I know it's exactly you. And I'm going to email you, get the information to send you out the proton kit and the Aries. So congratulations, 𝗃𝗽𝗲. You have won a feel of weight of products thanks to your comment.
Very nice. 𝗃𝗽𝗲, I would like to send you something as well. I'm going to be sending you the brand new 𝘃𝗽𝗲 mod. It takes a whole lot of e-liquid, got a lot of battery life, very, very pocket friendly. This is for you, my friend. Very funny.
So yeah,
can I pick the winner next?
We'll alternate. It's only fair.
Okay.
It's only
so
fair.
Please, we are going to be reading your comments. Maybe you'll see your comment written on or read on air. And we will be picking maybe the best one, maybe the funniest one, maybe the most heartwarming one to send you a product. Okay, so do comment. We appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Why do people thumbs down this video?
I don't know. I mean, just people just don't like us. That's just the way
we're
internet is.
We're trying to help people not smoke. We're trying to help people live a longer life. We're trying to help the vape industry and show the vape industry in a more positive light. We're trying to help vape shops. We're trying to create new customers. Well, why? I don't understand. I guess I don't understand. People, do you think it's people that just don't like us, or do you think it's like people who don't like vaping? What do you think? What do you think?
I mean, my experience on the internet has been that just some people simply don't like you. Some people are envious of you. Some people are jealous, and some people are straight out. You know, it could be anti-vaping people as well too. It could be a combination of all those three things. Very interesting. Last week, Smoke Free Radio. If you haven't seen it, it's a great episode, an hour and a half, jam-packed with up-to-date information on HPHC, on federal government, state government. Had Chris Howard on, legal counsel on, a board member of VTA. We had a great discussion, just a lot of answers, a lot of questions, and a lot of answers, and a lot of interaction in the chat. And right before the show ended, I get a comment in YouTube. I'm in the chat, a guy, I don't remember the username, but his comment exactly was to me, I never liked you since day one, but I do respect the work that you do. So I guess I took it as a compliment, and I feel exactly the same way. I probably don't like him since day one as well too, but I appreciate him watching, and that's just the way the internet is. Phil, I mean, look at the MAGA supporter with a Trump avatar. I mean, he literally wrote a novel on your YouTube comments that I'm bashing Trump, which was not, or the movement, or whatever it is. I mean, it's just stupid.
Maybe I need to go back.
I'll bash dumb people, but I'm not gonna bash.
Watch that episode and see what set him off that much. Why did my slides stop?
Yeah, is he in the chat? Is 𝗃𝗽𝗲 in the? I called him 𝗃𝗽𝗲. It's probably not 𝗃𝗽𝗲. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm gonna get another bad comment.
Oh, way to go! Way to go!
𝗃𝗽𝗲. Is he in the chat? Yeah, we definitely not. We're not a giveaway show. We just decided to, we always give away kits and starter kits and stuff like that to smokers, but we just decided to do something. We're not going to turn this into a giveaway show. There's plenty of those out there on YouTube if you guys want to participate. It's just not, this is not what it is. But I thought it was fun, and we can read some of the comments and get some of the feedback. And also, it's good to see the good stories that are in those comments away. Ex-smokers, people that smoked for 23 years, people that smoked since the age of 12. I think it's very powerful to keep showing out there, and I wish more people would do it as well, too.
Hey, something else we should mention on Taste Your Juice now. There is a dedicated page to the Smoker Show. So what we've tried to do is, and that page is going to be growing and improving, but what we've tried to do is put everything into a single page. So on that page, you're going to see our sponsors with links to our sponsors. I would appreciate if you do visit and support our sponsors. You're going to see coupon codes when we get them. You are going to see the full set of slides that we use on the show. As well as being able to download those slides for your use and consumption. And then finally, you're going to have all of the shows. There's a link to all of the shows as well. So again, this is something that we're trying to improve on so that it's even more all-encompassing on one page. But at least right now, it's a start, and everything can be seen on that single page.
Yeah, and this is a very great, valuable tool. This slide, so you can download this entire thing. You see how Phil has it. We're gonna integrate some kind of a YouTube thing on there, so that all the current episodes will be up there. So yeah, go give it a visit on tasteyourjuice.com. We really appreciate it.
And if you can, Dimi, just click the home tab on the top, please. Yep.
Your website is very slow.
Yeah, please. I've been having nothing but problems with the website.
It's the Florida internet.
Are you sure you're clicking home? Because that's really slow. Yes. Okay, and just scroll down a little bit.
Yeah.
Right about there, you can see on the left. Maybe you could put your cursor over that. You can see where you can get to that page. So it says the Smoker Show, and there's a little Smoker Show logo there. And if you click that, you'll go to the Smoker Show page.
Fantastic. Good job. Good job on that, Phil. Very well done.
I really like Bob's idea. Smoker Show T-shirts. We should do that.
We have some from Naked, and I know somebody asked for. Was it Bubba? I think it was Bubba. Asked for one in the chat. Just send me a message on Facebook. I'll send you one. How about that?
There you go.
How about that? How about that? How about that? But yeah, I mean, it is what it is, and we're going to continue to do the Smoker Show, whether Trump's attorney likes it or not. So we're going to continue to do it. And if you want to continue to leave comments, leave them, because you're going to be featured next week. I mean, in 2 weeks again, too. So we have more stuff to talk about. All right. We were going to do, I can still do it, but maybe I'll save it for the next episode.
What are you going to do?
Look what I found today.
What'd you find? Oh, a Vivinova or a VV-Nova.
Well, it's the version from iVape, but it's the VV-Nova tank, and it's brand new in the box. Haven't taken it out at all. Yeah, isn't that
worth millions?
I know. I was gonna flip it on Mod Trader or High End Mods, but I decided.
Don't break the seal.
Yeah, I mean, look, this thing is in complete. Let me switch to this camera here real quick. It just kind of show you where we were vaping and what we're vaping today. But this tank was kind of revolutionary. It also caused a lot of headaches for Phil as well too. Yeah, look at that.
Look at that.
I mean, it is in mint condition. 2 replacement coils ready to go inside there, and you're gonna see in these coils. Look at that.
The wicks.
Yeah.
Look at the length of that mouthpiece. I love it. I love it.
Let me see if I can't get it out.
Come on.
It's stuck sideways.
What the hell are you doing, man?
I don't know. It's stuck sideways. My hands are slippery. All right. Look at this coil. So for those of you that are new vapors and never have experienced something like this, basically what you have here is just like we have in cotton today, but this is actual silica wick, and the liquid will saturate these little wicks, and the coil sits right there in the middle. So when you draw onto the vapor, look how small the shaft for the vapor is that's coming out.
Look at that. That's probably why you had such a long mouthpiece.
Right. So
no condensation.
So the liquid would wick through these down into that coil, and then the vapor would come out of that little hole. And what Phil is saying is absolutely right. Why is the mouthpiece that big? Well, for condensation, number one. Number two, it's very cigarette-like. Kind of reminds you of a cigarette too. It's not very, very close to the tank. Like you see a lot of the sub-ohms have those little shorty trips. Well, this right here, you actually want to get that cigarette-like experience. Very, very tight draw. And yeah, this was a 3 meal 𝗃𝗵𝗻𝗀. I mean, I'm not gonna call it a knockoff. It was just the version that iVape used. And there's the coil. To remove the coil, you just simply unscrew it here from the top, and you replace with a new coil. Just screw it right
Love it.
down to the shaft. You know, I should fill one up. Maybe I'll do it next time.
Next time, we do need to have a vintage vapor show.
But what was revolutionary about this, I do want to mention something, is that the threading on this, of course, is just fantastic. Number one, Shenzhen quality.
I think you just misthreaded it, my friend.
I probably did. But what was revolutionary about this, again, for a tank this size, is this. You could fill it from the top. You know, this
Top
was
fill.
for us, this was right. We don't have to remove the base, and when the liquid is down low, and then refill it on top. So, yeah, just
I'm loving some of the comments that I'm seeing, because that was the device that got me off Cardos.
Yeah, a lot of people, and this helped a lot of people quit smoking. In fact, what it did do for me was trigger me, because it brought back some memories. Not triggered like the Trump guy, though. And I just want to play this guy for you guys to see this. If you haven't seen it, this is a lot of fun.
Oh, no.
Can I taste your juice?
Hello, I'm a CE too. You know, some people love me and some people hate me. Some people vape me happily, and some people would rather vapor rock. Sometimes I have 2 wicks, sometimes more. Oh look, there's juice down there. Climb that wick, Juice. Climb it. You can do it. You know, but the problem is that I really don't know what version I am. Yeah, well, you may have that problem, but I don't. I'm an 𝘃𝗽𝗃𝗍 𝗀𝗏. Yeah, but you're only a version 1. What do you mean? You look just like me. Oh no, my post is different. But I just came out. Oh well. But what about all the people that love me? Too bad, I'm better. And what about all the people that spent their money on me? Too bad, their loss. Will colored tanks help? Nope. Damn. Ha! You call those wicks? What the hell? Damn. I'm the version 3. I so have wick envy. Damn. But I just came out. Too bad. Damn. Coming soon, the 𝘃𝗽𝗃𝗍 𝗀𝗏 version 4. Damn. Damn. I am so in the clearance section.
and you know what's really funny
Folks
about it
keep-
is that we're actually, even from those days, we suffered from that. Like, a new tank would come out, and as soon as it hit the market, everybody went to go buy it. And by the time you got it mailed to your house, there was an announcement out. Version 2 is out now. And it was like, everybody's like, what the hell is that? I just got this tank in.
It is so true. Those wick tanks, those CE style tanks, were coming out so fast. And it's not only the tanks that were coming out, it was the coils. And everyone was supposed to be the best one ever. All I know is I thank God every day that we moved from those silica wicks to cotton.
Yeah.
Thank you, cotton. Thank you for actually wicking my e-liquid.
But I find it pretty ironic sometimes when people say, man, I get dry hits. Well, let me tell you something. You don't have an experienced dry hits. You haven't experienced dry hits until you vaped on one of these puppies right here. And I'm going to put 60% PG on this one. I'll put 70% VG on this. I'm screwed. But yeah, we struggled with the same thing back in that day. And this is 2012, 2013, when this video came out. So even before that, when the C4s were starting to break into the market, they were just trying to improve. And we were basically the test market for these companies. So they would put a tank out, and then they'd get the feedback, and they'd try to change it. That's why the products kept coming fast and fast and fast. And look how we transitioned all this time. At the end of the day, this is exactly the same thing as a Zenith tank, as a Nautilus tank. You have a tank where you put the liquid inside, a power coil that heats up, and then some kind of wicking system that takes the liquid into it. It's exactly the same thing, only things have gotten better, or maybe even worse.
If you think about it, every tank on the market has been given birth by the Cardo tank.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Absolutely. And by the way, the Cardo tank was actually invented by MAP, Most Angry Pirate, which is a U.S. modder. Thoroughly missed that. I don't see him at all, but he was one of the first. And immediately, as soon as he made the Cardo tank, which at the time cost maybe 30, 40 bucks. He was taking the tanks and cutting them all by themselves and making these tanks by themselves. Within 2 weeks, China had a version out in the market for like seven bucks. You know, that's just the way vaping is, folks. So
It is.
just a little history lesson there. So I don't want to bore you too much with it, but I think it's kind of interesting to see. I was just looking through my cabinet and I just happened to find completely sealed in there from 𝘀𝗽𝗲 at iVape, still in business out there in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So yeah, cool story.
I love it. I love seeing that stuff. Matter of fact, I've been saying for so long now, I really want to get a Cardo tank out. I want to punch a couple of Cardos and I want to see what it was like. Just remember what it was like. Because I think, we as vapors too, we lose touch with what it was like to smoke, really, right?
Sure.
What was the experience like? What was the draw like? What was the throat hit like? And I think it's important as we try to convert more smokers to not forget what that was like, because the needs of the smoker today, even though, vaping has progressed and has evolved, are the same exact needs of the smokers when we first started this. Somebody just reminded me too, I have my 10-year vape anniversary coming up. July 7th.
Nice. We'll have a big party. I do want to answer this question really quick. I saw it earlier. I just don't want to list it. It was just from a user that asked about nicotine. I want to use freebase, but I hear that I have to vape constantly in order to get the satisfaction where salt nicotine is quicker. Yes, salt nicotine is absorbed quicker. However, freebase nicotine, again, if you make the adjustments and the levels, might be just as satisfactory depending on what your style and your preference is. But yes, that's the benefit or non-benefit of salt nicotine. You can get it in a small package, like a small pod system, and it enters your bloodstream quicker than regular freebase nicotine. And it's one of the advantages that could help a smoker, but then again, the other disadvantages that we talked about earlier.
Somebody asked me to please respond to something that was posted at like 10 o'clock, I'm not sure what it is, but if you got a last minute question here, go ahead and ask it. And we'll try to get it answered for you.
That's a good question. Why haven't Cardos evolved? I mean, it was. Listen, Cardos. To me, I mean, I never used the Cardo, never.
Oh, I used lots of them.
Yeah, you did constantly. But for me, I could not get the satisfactory vape out of a Cardomizer. And don't get me on Cardo tanks. Let me tell you, I still have for modders up there, Cardo tanks and all these high end that came out, even the cheap ones and all that. I always had problems with them. I always had the flooding issues. I always had, when we had to punch them and then when they were pre-punched and all that, I never got the enjoyment. I always dripped, meaning I had a 510 atomizer and I just put 3 or 4 drops inside and got a couple of really good vapes and then I dripped again. I used the Rio, which is a bottom squonker for a little bit, but I used the drip shield when they came out from Empire Mods constantly so I could over drip, put 7 or 8 drips. Woo! That was a revelation. But I enjoyed the flavor that I got from dripping. It's one of the reasons why I still use Aries every day, because from an RTA, this liquid, I know it very well. I know exactly how I want it to taste, and I get that same satisfaction from RTA. So I dripped into a 510 Cisco HH357 constantly. Phil, on the other hand, used the Cardos all the time.
Right, and I want to talk about that. First, I want to apologize to Molly for your loss, and that is exactly why we do this show, Molly, so that hopefully less people will have that experience. I've always said that vaping is a game of trade-offs, right? You might trade something off to gain something else. And that something else might be more important to you than what you're trading off. Now, did I get better flavor from dripping directly into an HH357 back in the day? I absolutely did. You know what I hate doing? I hate dripping. I hate the act of dripping. I hate having a bottle with me all the time and doing this, and then you forget to drip and you get a dry hit. And I hate that. Hated that then. Hate that today. So what worked for me was a Cardo tank, because I didn't have to think about it as that liquid was in the tank.
And you were really good at it too. I mean, you knew how to do the pressure and this, and to me it was just like, ain't nobody got time for that. And also the flavor is a big key factor for me. I really like the flavor that I was getting for dripping. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I think that looking at some of that stuff in the past would be cool. Maybe you can get some stuff from your vape lair in Rochester and show off some more stuff in the next episode. By the way, breaking news. I just want to put this out there. It just came across my feed. I'm obsessed with gangsters and Colombian cartels I have read Pablo Escobar. I've seen every video that's come out on it. I've read multiple books, audio books, and all that. I'm just obsessed. And when I'm obsessed with something, I just fall into it 100%. So just now posted on the New York Times. El Chapo is on trial in New York, right? El Chapo escaped a couple of times, big Mexican cartel from the Sinaloa. Today, a witness at his trial testified that former Mexican president Peña Nieto, he was the good-looking guy that was the Mexican president, took $100 million in bribes from El Chapo. That would build a wall right there. There you go. There's your money for your wall. El Chapo gave it to Nieto. I know that doesn't mean anything to you, but to me, that's I'm gonna dive into. This is what I'm gonna spend the rest of the night doing.
It is. He will too. And when he says the rest of the night, he means until 5 o'clock in the morning,
Absolutely.
folks. When it's time for us to go to bed, that's when China wakes up and we start getting our questions and our emails and the correspondence starts happening. Most of the times, I drift off into Never Never Land, and then I get up in the morning and I see 𝗃𝗽𝗏 has had a full-on conversation with China that has gone into like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. One of the things that I really respect about 𝗃𝗏𝗏 is his work ethic. I mean, it's just it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. He's on top of things to everybody else's detriment around him, but. He's a pretty impressive guy.
I just like to answer immediately. I don't like people waiting, whether it's a simple question or whether it's work. I appreciate that, but your work ethic is much more better than mine. You're very, very detailed and very anal in a good way. So that's a good thing. All right, so I think we've covered everything. We do appreciate everybody watching the show. I did have an amp tank, and I never got it to work. You remember Cisco? Cisco put the amp tank out. And I wanted that thing to work so bad. I actually have a video on my YouTube somewhere for the AmTag. And I did get it to work a little bit, but I couldn't consistently get a vape. I was so pumped to put an HH357 in a tank, but it just never consistently worked. And I know what Cisco's going to say. User error, but I really, really wanted it to work, but unfortunately it didn't work. It was a really good idea. Just it was just simply impossible to execute perfectly. All right.
I think I have a review on the amp tank. The amp tank, I do have a review. April 19th, 2013, my amp tank review came out. One of the challenges with the amp tank and any device like that, as soon as it's suction based, how good or how bad or how perfect or how not perfect is going to work depends on how hard you suck.
Absolutely.
And that's a problem.
Absolutely.
Right? Because it depends too much on how hard you suck and the viscosity of the liquid.
And we know how hard you suck.
A bunch of fine-tuning controls on there. It's a challenging thing to do.
And we know how hard you suck, Phil.
And vapor.
Yeah, there we go. I knew it. One more for the road, 𝗃𝗏𝗏.
Flavor and vapor.
That's all I care about is flavor and vapor. All right. Let's wrap it up, Phil. Your closing thoughts, and please thank our sponsor.
I don't have any closing thoughts other than thank you. Well, I guess I do have some closing thoughts. Thanks everybody for watching the show. We're really excited to bring this show to the next level, to have more guests on the show, maybe to improve the quality to the best of our ability, but mostly to take the show on the road and to bring the show to vape events so that when people walk through the door, maybe they come to the Smoker Show booth first. Where they can get some, level-headed advice. Maybe they can get some starter kits, some liquid, from our sponsors. So we're really excited about doing that, and we definitely thank Ira for allowing us to do it for the first time at the Hall of Vape. But to everybody else, thank you so much for watching. You may notice that there haven't been a whole lot of reviews from me lately. It's because of all the work that I've been doing with INNOKIN and for this show. The reviews are still going to come, but they're not going to be hot and heavy like they used to be. I think my time is much better spent here and trying to figure out a way to more positively represent vaping to those who haven't discovered it yet. And also, the show's success is going to depend a lot on you guys too, for sharing the show. Share it on Facebook, share it online. Say some nice things about it. Give us some likes. Give us some subscriptions and some subscribers. But most of all, share it with smokers. They don't have to come to the show to watch it live. They can watch it in replays. You can send messages or questions to us anytime. Show suggestions. We'd be happy to listen to them. But really, this is us working together, okay? I know a lot of you guys who are watching are vapers. We want smokers. That's why we use the hashtag #SmokersWanted. And that's what I have to say. Dimitri, it's you. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. A really great suggestion from Bob in the chat. Smoker Show T-shirts. That way we can advertise to the smokers as we walk around. Put that in your notes, please, Phil, if you don't mind, and let's make that happen. I think something "Ask Me About the Smoker Show" on the T-shirt would be a really, really good idea when you're out and you're vaping and somebody sees you vaping and there's a smoker on your shirt. Maybe it'll attract some people to ask some questions. Maybe we can make that happen. Absolutely. I do want to inform everybody we're going to start a crowdfunding campaign to bring better internet to Cape Coral. I'm kidding. I'm joking around. But certainly we want to thank our sponsors. With that, there would be no Smokers Show. Of course, INNOKIN, My Vapor Store, JOYETECH, 5Ponds, LUNAR, ROVER, and Naked. They just drop them a message. Let them know you appreciate them sponsoring the Smoker Show. It just makes us feel good, and it makes them feel good as well, too, that you're watching. And like Phil said, how you can help us, share and give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you're wearing a MAGA hat. So we appreciate it. We'll see you again, hopefully in 2 weeks.